Oh, fighting games are doing something I'm called.
Yeah.
Mm,
S- So, bingo card. There you have it. You can play along.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, fighting games are. Let's see what they are doing. Well, uh, there has been a statement from one of SNK's producers that Capcom versus SNK could come back, as in
Yes.
both sides have expressed interest in reviving the series.
Yes.
So that's good news.
And I think like it perhaps could be a different deal from Tekken Cross Street Fighter. Since Tekken Cross Street Fighter, Tekken is also a big $1 million franchise that is very scared of getting their sales eaten into. Let's be real here. SNK, KOF, not a big $1 million franchise, at least over here in the States. Where KOF is mostly popular is South America, and Street Fighter isn't as over in South America as KOF is, anyways.
Yeah.
So the fear of KOF eating into Street Fighter sales isn't much. Now, realistically, there probably should be a lot of fears about CVS, the hypothetical CVS3 eating into SNK's sales, but I don't think people care.
Yeah, I think SNK are kind of just coasting on life right now. They don't really care. They can't really care. I mean, they've gone bankrupt
Yeah,
like 4 different times. They're just glad to be
yeah.
here anymore.
Nah. I mean, at the end of the day, like they've got Mister Blood Money Arab dude in charge, and he seems like kind of a money mark. So he might make bad business decisions just because, hey, assholes, make CVS3. I want it.
Yeah. Was that SVC Chaos 2? You got it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the thing. I was just watching the other day, old Maxi Baby talk about it. And Max was saying he didn't want it to be made by Capcom. He wanted it to be made by SNK. Which,
Why?
where credit is due, Capcom has not made a fighting.
Oh no.
Is my internet back?
Yeah.
I just heard you say what, and I assumed that was like, oh, my internet went out.
Oh no. I'm saying what as to why he'd prefer uh SNK to make a crossover or make the crossover.
Well, to be fair, there's industry reasons. Max generally is a lot more in tune to the industry than the majority of YouTubers. And that one of the things is Capcom hasn't made a fighting game in-house in a long fucking time. So there is that, to be fair. But I think it's... I don't remember why he said it, honestly. If I had to hazard a guess, I'd assume that he would mark down any issues SNK has to budget. While Capcom, he would perhaps be more inclined to say Street Fighter V's design was a bit stinky. But even then, the new guys in charge seem to be a lot better designers than Ono was.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like with SNK, it could be budget or it could just be other things because they didn't like wouldn't have 15 have had more of a budget since 14 was okay, you know, and all
Well,
that. Like,
I don't know.
I guess it's hard to say. We'll have to judge by Ghetto 2 because Ghetto 2 is the first blood money fueled game by SNK. So
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
the money came straight from Geese for Ghetto 2.
Geese is dead in the Garo timeline.
I know. It was easier for them to get it that way. But yeah, like
Well, obviously, if a CVS3 or SVC2, whichever, did happen, we'd be hyped for it because we like both those franchises.
yeah,
The question would be, when we got CVS2, we got like a whole arsenal of new SNK sprites made by Capcom, but the overwhelming majority of the Capcom side was recycled from Street Fighter Alpha. And on top of that, when they did Street Fighter Cross Tekken, we got a whole load of new Tekken models, animations, the whole deal. But all the Street Fighter cast was just ripped from Street Fighter 4. So I guess the question would be, this hypothetical CvS3 or SVC2, like, are we assuming here that the KOF roster, if it's CvS2, or CvS3, excuse me, then the entirety of the Street Fighter roster is going to be ripped from Street Fighter 6. And if it's
probably.
SVC2, then the KOF side is just going to be ripped from 15.
Yeah.
I guess that raises the question of, would you rather see Capcom characters in the style of KOF 15, or would you rather see SNK characters in the style of Street Fighter 6?
Are you joking? Is that how is that even a question? Wow, one of these groups has a budget, the other one does not. I wonder which one will have, I wonder which one will have better graphical fidelity.
You know, I bet you anything, it would still kind of roll around to, if SNK were smart, they would use that significant budget to buff up their KOF roster so they don't look quite so bad and fit 16, I guess. Capcom, though, if there's anything to observe from Capcom's past crossover stuff like this, they will experiment with character design and then copy those character designs into the next game under a new Street Fighter OC.
Yeah.
Can't wait for Barry Togard in Street Fighter 7. Anyways. So yes, that would be hypothetically hype. You know what would be dangerous, though?
What?
It would be the first Capcom SNK crossover since Ash got introduced.
Oh.
Yeah. CvS2 and SVC Chaos both came in just under the gate. CvS2 was so recent. K-Dash had only been introduced like 2 years before CvS2 came out.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Is K-Dash is in CvS2, isn't he?
I don't think so.
Holy shit, let me look this up.
I'm not sure.
He isn't. How did I never notice that?
Nice.
No, neither K-Dash nor Kula nor old how am I forgetting his name? Big Maxima.
Yeah, they didn't exist.
They did. They did. Give me a second. Well, it probably didn't. Hang on. CvS1. Let's see. CvS1 came out in 2000. And let's see. What game introduced K-Dash? 99, right?
I don't remember. I think so.
99. So, K-Dash, at the time of CvS1's release, was a really new character that they may not have wanted to bother with, and they wanted to stick to the iconic original saga. And, of course, CvS2 came out a year later, and they didn't want to bother making a new sprite for K-Dash or Kula or Maxima.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say the same thing as I always do. But if CvS3 happens, I want everyone to look like Street Fighter 6. And then Morrigan still has her sprite from Darkstalkers 1.
Always. Gotta get that line in somewhere. We should have put that on the fucking bingo card.
Yeah.
Morgan's sprite gets brought up. And like, the joke still gets made long after Marvel vs. Capcom 3 finally just introduced a 3D Morrigan.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I mean, it's just too iconic, the fact that they used her sprite in so many games.
No. You know what?
What?
Morgan is there. she's got, a proper 3D model and the whole deal, all fresh and nice. And her storyline is, I need to, Lilith is separated from me again. I must reunite with Lilith. She goes, and the arcade ending is, she finds Lilith. Lilith is also 3D, properly animated, the whole deal. And they fuse back together into 2D pixel original sprite Morgan.
And then you unlock that as an alternate costume.
Yeah. But make it original Darkstalkers 1, even, Night Warriors Darkstalkers. Like the original Darkstalkers 1 Morgan. Because that game was so stinky in a lot of ways. Well, not stinky, but just weird.
Yeah, and just to drive it home. Like, make it so that alternate costume of Riga uses a different set of projectiles and stuff like that, like the effects. And just put all of the character budget into the effects. So she has the best effects in all of the game, but she also has a sprite.
Well, it's those oddball like Arxis and French bread games of like the characters are sprites, and yet they spit out the most ludicrously high-res particle effects.
Yeah.
That like you'll be playing BlazBlue on your laptop or whatever, and it's like, oh yeah, everything's working fine. You throw a single fireball and your laptop just dies. And it's like, oh god damn it.
Not again. This is the third last laptop this week.
Who could have done this?
And then you look at the wall, and there's just a poster around the blood edge.
You deserved this.
Yeah. But yeah, we're hyped for the possibility. We don't probably nothing will come of this because Street Fighter 6 is not yet released, and after like it's gonna take another like 3 to 6 years after Street Fighter 6 for SVC3, whatever, CvS3. Yeah.
Well, you know what will happen is it's going to draw, like, they're going to release the first trailer in 2 or 3 years when we've forgotten all about this talk, and we'll be like, oh!
Yeah.
How? Hype! Hype.
Yes. Then, in other news, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R released.
Okay. Has there been any talk about it?
Yes. The game is very fun. People want to play it online. Delay-based netcode.
Yes. Zawarudo Extreme.
Yeah. I mean, what's even worse, and that's not even a netcode thing, that's a matchmaking thing, but the matchmaking is also kind of stinky. People on Xbox, specifically, have not been able to find many other matches. I saw a picture where a guy matched up with themselves.
That's
amazing! And it's not even a netcode problem, that's a matchmaking problem. And that's a completely separate mechanical problem. that wouldn't be fixed by rollback.
Yeah. It's time for a death. Fight your rival!
Yeah.
Like, you both appear and just start making the Soul Calibur noises at each other. Huh?
But yeah, that was great. There's already been people making new combo meds because they changed how physics work and stuff. There's gonna be free LC if memory serves for a couple of characters.
Ooh.
Yeah. The rumored people that they're adding are Poochie and Weather Report, which says nothing to you, but hey.
Poochie.
Yeah, the main antagonist of Part 6.
I was about to say, isn't Poochie like the bad guy of an entire arc?
Yeah, there's like 5 different versions of Poochie because he changes stance twice. And
oh.
Yeah. And there's a version of Poochie in the game, if memory serves. But another version is getting added. One of I don't know if it's the version that he has or it's the other one, but one of his stands is Whitesnake. I just wanted to point it out because I find it funny.
To my understanding, the character is deeply interested in a white snake.
Yeah, specifically one white snake, yes. But
Oh
also,
man.
Weather Report will be an interesting one for them to handle because Weather Report's stand is very interesting. It's all like I say without spoiling parts, and considering that Netflix is releasing thirds of part 6 once every 3 years, you know, people are actually like watching it now.
The funny thing is, just yesterday, my family, we were browsing Netflix, and I saw JoJo's up there, and I nearly went, they have JoJo's? But then the thought occurred to me of, I should not open this rabbit hole. This is one thing I do not want to have to explain.
I do not wish to unleash this curse on my family.
Yeah.
Part 6 wouldn't. I'm assuming haven't watched the series yet because I'm waiting for them to actually like release all of this fucking series before I watch it. You know, because I've already read what happens. I know what happens in the thing. And you know, if I'm spending time watching it animated, then I want to see it all. But yeah, like part 6 would be a very weird one to explain because people like I've seen people be like, is it just me or the stand's very weird in this part? And you haven't seen anything. This was the beginning of the end. The stands only get weirder. So yeah. I'm looking forward to whenever part 7 gets animated because yeah, part 7 is like either my favorite or my second favorite depending on the day, so you know.
I'm shocked it hasn't been already. Oh, right. There was a whole big deal about them animating part 6, wasn't there?
Yes, and they still haven't done it. And we're still wondering what they'll do. Because you know, there's an entire part, and I guess spoilers for JoJo Part 6. Skip like 20 minutes. But yeah, so there's a whole part that's coming up called Bohemian Rhapsody. That's the stand that causes this. And Bohemian Rhapsody makes fictional characters exist. So there's like Pinocchio with a cock. Like I specifically remember that for some reason he was drawn with a cock. But aside from
naturally.
him, yeah. But aside from him, there's also Mickey Mouse, Spider-Man, Superman, Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star, Rao, and a couple of others that they either allude to or don't show a lot of. I mean, even Spider-Man is like a head, really. But
yeah,
like Mazinger Z. He also comes to life for some reason. Like all of these random ass people. Also, the first mech.
Yeah.
But yeah, the part that people are wondering about is because one of the greatest moments in part 6 is when Arasui tries to go to Disneyland, but Mickey left Disneyland because he's alive, and he's like, where the fuck is Mickey? This shit ain't Disney if there's no Mickey.
That explains the meme image. Okay,
Yeah.
Now I understand.
That actually is a thing that happens in the plot that wasn't changed.
Amazing.
Yeah. And so, yeah, the people have been talking about exactly how they could handle it. Was it like, you know, just change out Disney and Mickey to Universal and Bugs and all that. And I mean, apparently they've already changed Mickey reference to Bugs, so they might.
Nice.
Yeah. But you know, it's one of those things where, like, if they're gonna do that, I need them to animate Bugs Bunny. Like, I need them to have told fucking David Production to animate Bugs Bunny fighting someone. Because Mickey, if memory serves, Mickey fights someone. And but like, you know, I just want to have an animated sequence that's official where Bugs Bunny is interacting with JoJo's characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where, like, I don't know if he'd be the weirdest. It's JoJo's. Uh, but yeah. So, anyway, yeah, All-Star Banner are released. People have been asking about how to Hadouken. It's been it's been a thing. Like, it's one of those things where, like, I get it because you have to start somewhere, and it is not the most natural input for a lot of people, apparently, because it's one of those weird things where uh my brother-in-law likes playing fighting games sometimes, but very casually, as in, like, doesn't know motion inputs and stuff like that. A while back,
Yeah.
my sister, his wife, doesn't like fighting games, but also grew up with me, so she's played fighting games, and she also doesn't know how to do motion inputs and all that. But there was this time when he was like, "Okay, so can you teach me how you do those special moves?" And I was just like, "Okay, let's go with a simple one. Press down, forward, and then punch." And he tried for 10 minutes and nothing. He gave the control to my sister, and she immediately did it. So it's one of those things where, like, I guess I guess some of it has to come naturally. That you just press those buttons very fast or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, it's one of those things where uh when I see people going like, how do you do this complicated input, and they just show a Hadouken, my brain is just like, there will be no simplification hard enough.
The thing you always that at least stuck to me was sometimes just down right gets people confused. Like, am I supposed to press down, then neutral, then right? And of course, they wouldn't say neutral, but you get what I mean.
Yeah,
Like, what made me understand was seeing how Street Fighter puts it in the menus, which is just simply the quarter circle, right?
that's how it is in that game. It's a quarter
Oh
circle.
no!
Yeah.
Have you told him to do it faster?
Well, I didn't give them advice because it's fucking social anxiety, but other people did. Yeah. Like, it's a very easy. Or wait, who are you asking? Are you asking about the person who was asking for help with JoJo's, or are you asking about my brother-in-law? Because I did tell my
Your
brother-in-law.
brother-in-law.
Yeah, I did tell my brother-in-law to just do it faster. It didn't work.
Speed, Rocky, speed!
Yeah. But yeah, so like whatchamacallit? Yeah. Like, once again, if it was like, oh, sure, you can, I can understand that. That even when they do the actual, like, Z input showing thing of it, it looks complicated because it's a dumb input, kind of. Like, and I'm used to it. I like it, and it is dumb at the end of the day, and all of
Yeah.
that. Or, like, if it was something like a pretzel, I'm like, okay, yes, I get this one. But Hadouken, I look at that and I go, maybe we should, like, somehow help people get used to doing these inputs instead of trying to just make all of them this one, because apparently this one's too hard too.
Yeah. Oh, don't forget down, down. I've been
Yeah,
playing for years, and down, down still gives me trouble. Or down, fucking up. Oh my
down up,
god.
down up doesn't give me trouble, but that's because when I was growing up, the two games that I played a lot was Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat. It is like all the first trilogy, really, because I played UMK3 UMK3 the most because it was the best one, but I've also played a lot of 1 and 2. So yeah, like
Yeah.
like, once again, I always played the arcade modes. So no room list, no training mode. I figured out how to do fucking teleports and all of that myself. so so yeah, the like down down or rather down up, I'm fine with. I mean, it's not one that I see a lot, so I don't blame you for not being used to it.
Pretty well, only Mortal Kombat does it nowadays.
Yeah. Well,
Like
it
it's pretty
depends.
well just for Raiden's teleport and Noob's little "I'm going to jump off the screen and then suplex you" move.
Yeah, oh, I'm forgetting the name of the move. Whatever. Fuck it. But yeah, they do that. I feel like I've seen a down up. Yeah, I did see a down up, I think, in one of the anime games. I
Oh
don't know if it.
no!
I don't know if I don't know if it was Uni or BlazBlue. I think it was BlazBlue. Uni has. I know in Uni Akatsuki, or I guess in the Akatsuki BlitzConf, Akatsuki has Shoryuken on down, but yeah,
He kind of always has, hasn't he?
I don't know. I haven't played Akatsuki BlitzConf, so but yeah. And I guess that's all that's really that we can really talk about with the JoJo game coming out, because like most of it has been people who are enjoying the game because of the single player content and all that are enjoying the game. Some people are like, hey, this game is really fun, I wish it had a better online, and then people go, yeah, me too. And that's basically been
Yep.
the conversation around it. And then also some of the militant type people going like, this game sucks because no rollback. But yeah.
Yeah, I can't really see us having much to say about it at the moment since neither of us are playing it.
I guess one thing to note here for people who have played the original version of the game, apparently they remade the single player content completely because the old one sucked. So that's
Yeah.
nice.
Good to hear, I suppose.
Yeah. And let's see, any other news? I don't think so. So yeah, we can move on to the more normalish topics that are not news, I guess.
Well, I suppose then there's, of course, there's whatever you fished up off of Reddit, but also there's what you did the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What'd you?
Well, I guess this is news too, but GranBlue Fantasy Versus is free on PS Plus.
Yes.
Get it while it's hot. And yeah, I've been playing through the story mode and also the arcade mode for GranBlue Versus. Now, one thing you haven't been able to try it out, so I was going to ask you, but you don't have experience. But I don't know if I just have too much like experience with fighting games now, or if GranBlue is just surprisingly fucking easy. But I have to play the game on extreme to have some sort of challenge from the AI in arcade mode.
Ha!
And the way I found this out is that GranBlue has a really good arcade mode in the sense that when you beat a character, you get to choose between 3 enemies to fight in the next match, and they depend on the difficulty. So if the fight you just had wasn't hard enough, you can go up for difficulty. Or if the fight was too easy or too hard, then you can go down on difficulty. Or if it was just right, you can continue with the same one. And you can skip between these difficulties until you reach the extremes. It's not just the two adjacent to the one you started with.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's how I found out that I need to play on the hardest difficulty of the game, because whenever I was playing on the easy, like I started on normal, and the game was just like the game just didn't move, and even on extreme, sometimes it just forgets to move. So I was like, something's wrong. Like
Yeah.
I get it, but also something's wrong. But yeah.
That always astounds me when, like, the easy level difficulty of the AI is just like, oh, the AI is not playing at all. Like,
Yeah,
Like, I get that if that a more proactive AI will probably still beat players that don't know what they're doing, just because players that don't know what they're doing don't know to block yet. But like, there has to be a better way.
I mean, not only that, but also, for one, they have to learn how to block. It's important. I know this for experience. I spent most of my life not blocking. But yeah. And then for two, that like you said, there has to be a better way. Like that, it shouldn't take until literally the hardest difficulty of the game for the AI to actually feel somewhat proactive. You know.
Yeah.
Like I had a similar issue with Uni, where Uni's AI is also kind of around this level, where Uni has, I want to say, like 4 or 5 difficulty levels, and on the hardest, sometimes the AI does combo and actually like punishes you and shit like that, and that's fine. But also, there should be a harder difficulty than that, because I just like it's one of those things where I'm used to the AI kicking my ass, so. So whenever the AI can do that, even on the hardest difficulty, I'm just like, okay, something's wrong. There's a disturbance in the force. Someone fucked up here.
I've seen that which I was not meant to see.
Yeah. And to continue the comparisons, Uni, at least from what I remember, the difficulty there is fine. As in, like, you know, on the hardest difficulty, the AI tries. Like, it's not as good as an intermediate or even a somewhat good beginner level player. Sure, it's never gonna be. But the AI actually the AI is actually compared to other AIs, alright. In GranBlue, the AI switches between standing there menacingly to like sometimes reading your inputs, it feels like.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's how most fighting game AIs are for me, and that's why I'm not big on single player in these games anymore.
Yeah, it's a problem, yes. But yeah, so what else can I really say about GranBlue? It like the arcade stuff, not much really. There are arcade endings technically exist, but they're a single cell. Like it's one picture.
Really? Just one?
Yeah. It's
Is it at least like a comic, like Street Fighter V's arcade endings?
No.
Oh my god.
It's an illustration of stuff happening sometimes, sometimes, but not always.
And I assume it's mostly fan service for people who are already into the GranBlue franchise before Versus?
Probably.
Oh.
Like it's just like they are comics sometimes, not always. Like the main antagonist of the game, if you beat the game with him, is just an illustration done in the style that the other endings are done in, of him that is just one single picture. The other ones are just like these comics, technically, with no text whatsoever. It's just stuff happening on screen in a comic. It's just stuff like, for example, I play Lorraine. Lorraine's ending is that Lorraine serves food to Gran because that's his job, and then that's 1/4 of his ending. The another fourth of his ending is one of his brother's heads, and the other two I don't remember because that's how interesting the picture was. Like it's just very like everyday shit where there is some like story being conveyed by these pictures, but like it really is just like when I saw Lorraine's ending, I thought everyone had the same endings because it featured too many characters for it to not be the case. Like that's the level. So yeah, that's that. There's also the RPG mode that people always say, hey, GranBlue has single player content, and kind of, but not really. Yeah. The RPG mode is fine. I prefer it to something like Mortal Kombat stuff because it does the same things but with more it does the same things but more modular. There's some story exclusive round story animations for the characters that you choose and stuff like that, which is all fine. What I hear the big problem with the story mode or whatever the RPG mode,
What's that?
it's Guilty Gear fucking Setsuka. Or Itsuka, I
Oh,
forget.
is that a problem? I don't know anything about that game.
It's the one you bought me. So Iska, there we go.
I was about to say, Setsuka's a Soul Calibur character.
Yeah. But yeah, it's Guilty Gear Isuka. It's the spiritual successor to Guilty Gear Isuka. The only thing that makes it better than it is well, two things. One, it's not a standalone game. That's that's a good part. Two, instead of putting turn on a button, now it's block. You can't block. But like it's a 2D beat 'em up that works on the same plane as fighting games do. So no moving up and down.
Weird.
Yeah. And all of the fights use that mechanic or whatever, that's their gameplay style. Even the ones that are 1v1 using characters that are in the game.
Jesus.
Yeah. Like, I was like, okay, well, they'll use this for the trash mobs and stuff like that because we need to have, like, RPG enemies. Okay, cool. They're gonna use the normal fighting mechanic for the actual, like, boss fights, right? Because the bosses are gonna be the other people in the game, right? And they are the other people in the game. They are the other people in the game. But no, we're still using the beat 'em up controls. Why not?
Makes sense.
Yeah. And this race has problems, as you'd imagine, because sometimes you just cross yourself up. Why not? It's fun.
Yeah, that sounds good. Fighting game with no blocking.
There is blocking on a button. That's out of the way.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. And also, sometimes you can use back to block, but only sometimes. Sometimes you cross yourself up and get hit instead, bitch. But like, there's like the putting like I didn't think I'd ever say this. Putting turn or in Iska or a separate button instead of block and all that might have been the better choice. Wanna know why? Wanna know why?
Why?
Well, imagine this. Gran is a Shoto. He has a Shoryuken, a Hadoken, and a Tatsumaki. Imagine which two inputs are very similar, except for the side.
Oh no.
Imagine instead of going for a Tatsumaki, doing a Hadoken to the side of the screen that has no enemies. And that happens a lot to me. Alternatively, try doing a Hadoken, but instead doing a fucking Tatsumaki the other side.
Oh boy.
Yeah. It's great. So, like, it feels like they tried to improve on Iska and all that, but it, like, for one, the gameplay design of Iska doesn't work. Just flat out doesn't really work. And also, the ways they try to change it to work better also don't work on top of that. Like, I get what they were going for, and the setup makes it so, the way they have it set up, makes it so you can have, like, Destiny battles or whatever they were called in Alpha. Where you could fight with two characters, or you could have two characters on screen or one team and then fight the AI with one. Like, you can do that in this game, but also, hope you like not having access to some of your tools, consistently at least.
You don't need them.
Yeah. Otherwise, one of the big things that I disliked about GranBlue is how Vern is not playable. Vern is
Vern?
yeah, Vern. V
Vern
V
Troyer?
No, not yet.
Damn.
He'll be DLC in season 3.
Ah, I see. Okay. It makes sense.
But yeah, VYRN. Vern is Grant's like supporting like jokey character, I guess. But they made him like he's the mascot of the group. And they made him into weapons, but he's not actually a playable character. Why not? Just fuck it. I mean, that would have made my choosing a main much easier if he was playable, because like none of these characters are interesting, really. Well, there are a couple, but they're like they're very like the game is very medieval fantasy, so obviously not my style. And a lot of the
Yeah.
lot of the characters that I was like, okay, this person seems interesting. I might want to give them a try. They're DLC usually, like Cagliostro.
Yeah, it generally seems that you really pick the cool characters, and the cool characters are the ones that are inevitably saved up for DLC, because of course they are.
Yeah.
You need to start picking more lame dork characters like me and Pink do.
But I don't want to pick the lame
But
dork
not too
characters.
lame and not too much of a dork, then he's comedy relief, and if he's comedy relief, he'll also be DLC.
Yeah. And speaking of lame dorks, Lovain. So I started going into this on other podcast, but yeah, I picked Lovain because Lovain is the joke character. Lovain is a delusional cook who works together with his brothers, I think, who look pretty much the same. If they're not brothers, then golly, they went through a lot of trouble making themselves look like each other. But anyway,
Identical strangers.
yeah. But yeah, so Lovain is a delusional cook who has a weird and wacky moveset, and his super is getting the other two to hold him up in a pyramid, and they're basically just like a meat mech at that
Well, I
point.
have a question.
Yeah.
He's short, isn't he?
Not particularly. Why?
Okay, when you say they hold each other up in a pyramid, I honestly kind of assume they'd be tiny.
No, it's three like normalish looking kind of lanky dudes, I guess. Like they're about normal height. They're kind of lanky in stature, and they're just
Huh.
it's three nerds. Where two of them are holding the third one's leg, as all three of them are doing power stances. So
Okay.
yeah, and I saw that super. I didn't know it was a super, but I was like, every time I see this character, he like there's three of him, and that sets him apart from the rest of the characters who are just generic knight anime. So you
Yeah.
know, if I'm playing, if I get a chance to play the game, I'll probably play that guy because he's three guys actually. And there's that. No, technically he's not three guys. He's just the biggest stance switcher in all of everything. Because Lovain's super. Lovain has two supers. Lovain's normal super is calling in his identical strangers to hold him up in a pyramid. Lovain's desperation super is calling in God and then turning into God.
Yeah.
So yeah, that guy is interesting. Now, another thing that I want to point out about this character is the reason I stuck with Lovain is, well, for one, I can make the moveset work with me a lot, even though Lovain's supposed to be a set play character and I really don't play him set play, you know. But he's kind of like he's kind of a keep away set play kind of guy where you can play him a bit keep away, you can play him a bit set play, but he's not really great at either, I don't think. But instead, like everyone else, I play him rushdown because why wouldn't I? If the game lets me, if the game lets me, and I can do it, then why not?
I definitely remember. No, wait, what was I talking about?
You definitely
Either which
remember.
way, yeah, that's a recurring trend for you is, yes, keep them at a distance. I'm gonna ignore that.
No, really like that. I need the tools to keep people at a distance so that I can get in, hit them a couple of times, and then run away like a coward. Just to piss people off. So like that's worked out for me. Because Lorraine can do that. And I also like Lorraine because Lorraine is this game's Deadpool. Like
Oh no.
not completed to the point where where he picks up the hod and beats people over the head with it and stuff like that. But Lorraine is the like Lorraine and his stranger brothers are like so delusional, I guess, or something like that. I don't know what the lore implicate or the lore justification is. That sometimes they just say stuff that's that breaks the fourth wall, but not always. Like they're not completely like they're not wholly primitive Deadpool. They're Deadpool on in the best series on a good day, pretty much. Like the way if you beat Lovaine's crush with Lorraine, that's you. Then
Thank you.
his wing quote against her is something like I if I were to express my adoration of you, I would need a couple more text boxes and stuff like that. One of them I remember, one of their one of their fight start animations or whatever, match start animations. There we go, words. Yeah, one of their start animations is just the three of them because they always start with in a circle huddled discussing tactics, and
Yeah.
one of them is them just going back and forth quoting Arx's ring starting or whatever round starting shows. And like I love that. Like it's one of those things where they don't do the fourth wall breaks enough for it to take me out of the game, but they do it enough that I'm like, yeah. I know that I clapped when I heard it.
Oh boy.
But yeah, I also really liked how they're going like I feel like it was against the antagonist of the game in arcade mode, where their conversation was just something like, "All right, bros, what's the tactics? What tactics? We always make stuff up. Oh right, I guess we'll be improvising." And then the match started. So yeah, like there's some good stuff in that.
Yeah.
And then to close out the GranBlue talk, I will talk about the part that you immediately know I will complain about. The controls. So
Oh, one button specials, right?
they don't force it on you. Well, not inherently.
But by sheer nature of its existence as a core game mechanic, it's something that's like one button shore use, immediate anti-airs. That's pretty nice. That's something that even if you are in favor of motion inputs on a like principle level, it's still like having instant anti-airs is so strong you can't turn it down, you know?
I did. I only used the one button
On
specials
principle,
once.
yes, but on principle, yes, but
I only used.
Let's say you were less anal retentive. I say that as someone who is also very anal retentive.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I still don't like the way it was implemented, because and this is something that I want. This is the point that I want to bring up about it. I used the one button specials once because Charlotta, I think I forget. There's this small night girl, and I was playing with pretty much the Mokujin of the game, and I got random that character. She plays like Guile. Now, as you'd imagine, your choices are Robo Guile, Street Fighter 2 AI Guile. And
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and
Does he at least have a long cooldown on it?
that's other part that I was going to bring up. Apparently, or allegedly rather, if you do the normal motion inputs, then the cooldown should be shorter. Not that I could tell. The cooldowns seem the same.
The foot. They might have changed it with the updates, but I remember when it launched, at least the Shoryu, it's probably different for each one. Like Hadokens, they probably don't bother making there be that much of a difference because at the end of the day, if you're a practiced Hadoken spammer, you can get that input out pretty fucking quick. But a Shoryu or a charge should absolutely have a long cooldown.
I don't know if it's inherently longer or not. If you do it with the proper motion or not.
I believe I did hear that ones that have Hado inputs don't have long cooldowns.
Oh no, the entire moves don't like the moves don't have the longest cooldowns. They have enough that you'll notice, pretty much. But otherwise, according to the game, or at least according to the game when I booted up and actually looked at whatever fucking pop-up tutorial stuff there was that it gave me. Apparently, if you do the normal motions, the cooldowns should be shorter than otherwise. I have not felt it being shorter. I've compared. I have not felt the cooldowns being shorter.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier, is that the cooldown, I believe I had heard the cooldown was shorter on Shoryus and charges if you actually did the input. But on Hado, it doesn't make much of a difference whether or not you did the actual input, because the input isn't that big to begin with.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. From what I could tell, the cooldown was the same on all of the moves. Like, regardless of...
Including Shoryus and charge moves?
Yeah.
I see. Well, in that case, I feel like that would require some dedicated lab time, which is more me than you. But if that is the case with Guile and, Bison or whoever, then it instantly becomes there is no reason to ever charge ever again.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to bring up, is that I played through with Mokujin, pretty much, on extreme difficulty, and I got the character that's Guile. And I got the character that's Guile with the last the last enemy, the fucking main antagonist, who's a zoner. And I got Guile against the guy who's a zoner. Also, he does Ashura Senku, which is the bigger problem, because that means that has Guile. Oh yeah, by the way, Guile doesn't have a Sonic. He has a Sonic input, but he doesn't have a projectile.
What?
Yeah.
Well, that's not as broken.
But the main point here being is that I need to play this character who is Guile, or who plays like Guile. I need to play them, but also not having a projectile against the guy who's a zoner. So I tried doing charge inputs for a bit. God knows I did. And then after a round, I was like, this shit sucks. I'm gonna have to do the simplified inputs. And I feel like that's a small flaw. Like, it's one connector, but still that's a small flaw. Because there's no real choice.
There could probably be more depth here, but do we really want to spend this much time on GranBlue to examine the depth?
Yeah, I don't know. I just the other things that I wanted to note, there were a couple, is well, once again, the thing that I just said, the charging or whatever, the cooldowns don't seem to actually change between, or at least from my experience, don't seem to actually change between doing the inputs and doing the simplified inputs, or doing the motions and doing the simplified inputs, and that's a problem, because then what the fuck reason is there to actually do the motions?
Yeah.
But also, characters only have like 5 moves. I'm over exaggerating, but genuinely they only have like 12 or 13. I counted a couple of days ago and I forgot exactly what number I got. But
Are you counting normals?
Yeah.
Because 12 or 13 specials is fucking ludicrous.
No, I'm counting normals.
Like 12 or 13 specials is like when you have those real
Yeah,
crazy KOF 2002 characters,
I was about to
right?
say 12 or 13 specials is KOF, not this game. No,
Yeah.
the characters have 4 specials, and then you have 2 normals plus the auto combo button in descending. You have
Yeah.
3 jumping buttons, so that's 10, and then you have your 3 crouching buttons. That's 13. So yeah, characters generally speaking have 13 moves, and most of them don't link.
Yeah.
Like you have your auto combo to do a predefined combo, and aside from that, you have auto combo to do a predefined combo, because everything else is pokes, and not only are they pokes, but they're pokes that have too much recovery and cannot be cancelled out of in any means. So the game, like when I first started the game up, I was like, the game allows for more than I thought, which it does, because the game has wall bounces and shit like that if you do the EX versions of specials. So it's this thing where you can do the one combo twice or maybe even 3 times if you're really good, but you're still doing the one combo. And then just using the specials to link the combos with each other.
Yeah.
Because aside from the auto combo, you can't combo really. Like I'm not even sure if you can cancel like the some of the poke buttons into specials. Because if memory serves, whenever I tried, I wasn't able to.
If there was ever like a phrase I could hear that would instantly make me go, Addy won't like this game, it's there are no combos outside of the auto combo. Womp womp.
Yeah. And not only that, but the game, the whatever combo there is in the game, or really just whatever flowing motions which you try to do. And I don't mean the motion inputs. I mean, how in fighting games, movement and using movement and attacks after each other and stuff like that has a certain flow to it that feels nice if it's done well.
Yeah.
GranBlue doesn't have that, or at least it has that, but it's very disjointed to me. It doesn't like. It feels like if Mortal Kombat tried to do away with the dialogue combo, but instead of taking away the dialogue combo, they just made it so it doesn't do shit. Like you still have all of this time where you could be inputting moves or whatever, and the game doesn't recognize them as inputs. And once the animation is over, then you can do something else. Because like Mortal Kombat feels disjointed a bit. Mortal Kombat's combo system in MKX feels a bit disjointed because of the dialogue combo, where you need to start doing the combo before seeing if it actually hits, and then just keep going with those. GranBlue does the same thing, but there's no combo to be had, so you're just waiting for your poke to finish so you can actually like move.
Ow! Okay, continue. I'm just hurting myself over here.
All right, nice. See, you were in recovery, so you couldn't move out of the way. This is why GranBlue works. This doesn't work. No, but genuinely, it's one of those things where looking past my biases for doing combo and all that, it just makes the game feel worse. The movement just doesn't feel nice like this. And then I feel like I see that as a bigger issue than whether or not I can do multiple varied combos. Because combos can be eventually patched if they want them to happen. You can change physics and stuff like that like post. Changing how the movement feels is a lot harder, I'd assume. Because that's kind of deeply rooted in how the rest of the game works. And so it's one of these things where like GranBlue has its own actually, yeah, I can compare this to Uni. You remember how Uni combos have their own rhythm that you need to get used to before you can actually start doing them? Like how it doesn't flow like Guilty Gear does, and it doesn't feel the same as Street Fighter because you can't
Yeah.
cancel as much and stuff like that. GranBlue feels the same, but it's with the most basic shit. Like just pretty much most, if not all, of the game. And another thing that I wanted to bring up about the GranBlue, and I guess we'll close on this, is man, you do not want to know the amount of times I tried to air dash. And because the game can have the speed that you would expect from a game that, like, how do I put this? The game can have this sort of speed that I'd expect out of Guilty Gear Strive. So I'm just like, obviously I'll be able to dash in. Oh wait, right, no air dashes. Not in this game. I need to do the ground dash. Oh, but wait, I need to wait until I recover out of the jump, so I can actually run. What my opponent has been standing there for 10 seconds and is actually actively hitting me? What? When?
How could this happen?
Yeah. Yeah, like, it's one of those things where, like, your first instinct is to go, well, if you see the opponent standing up and all that, block. But everything in the game feels kind of on like a delay. Or something like that. Where it's switching between being on a delay and not. Because the auto combos feel fine. The movement can feel fine as long as you're not trying to do anything aside from like running and stuff like that. The way the game doesn't feel too weighty with that sort of stuff. But aside from those two, trying to go from point A to point B feels like the game doesn't want you to actually succeed at doing that. Like, the game wants you to, like, if you're doing it, you're doing it on the game's time. You're doing it on the game's terms, or you're not doing it at all. And that just doesn't feel great. I was going to test all of this stuff with my niece, because my niece doesn't know how to play fighting games a whole lot. But there was not enough time. She just hasn't been available.
A full schedule this child has.
There's too much Roblox to be had to play this garbage fucking medieval fantasy game.
The Roblox is overflowing.
Yeah. But yeah, so GranBlue is a game that I'm sure people enjoy. I'm just not... Well, no, I've enjoyed GranBlue. That's the weirdest part. I liked playing GranBlue. It's just whenever I'm playing GranBlue, I'm just like, man, I wish... like, these basic fucking game mechanics that are done in this game were not done this way.
For a second you said GranBlue and I misheard it as Blangru.
That's the bizarre version of GranBlue where there actually is combo. GranBlue. GranBlue reality. Cooperative. But yeah, so that's it for GranBlue Fantasy Versus.
All right.
Let's see. Well, on an easy one, I guess, a fast one. To discuss with the things is, someone posted the question: which fighting game would you want to be remastered? Which?
Remastered or remade?
Well, they asked remastered, but at the same time, I'm assuming this is another case of remasters and remakes are pretty much the same thing to the general populace. So, I guess remakes. I guess let's go with both. Give one for both, or rather, give one for either.
Oh boy, remakes. Well, I'd like to see someone. Mortal Kombat Trilogy.
Yeah.
Better hardware, change some of the mechanics, make it a little more balanced, make it so Shang Tsung doesn't either need to only switch into one character or conversely reload the entire game to switch to another character. But for just remaster, make no mechanical changes whatsoever, I think I've answered this before, but MVC2 is a pretty big one. If it were just living in Fantasyland,
Yeah, what are you talking about? You can go and buy MVC2 right now for only $1,200 in this small arcade.
Yeah, get a Dreamcast. To be fair, I think they are putting out a new Marvel vs. Capcom cabinet
Yeah, they are.
here in the States.
That's what I'm referencing. Yes, the $700 one-up arcade.
I think they're putting out a new one that features all the Marvel stuff.
Oh, I didn't
Because
hear
the old
about
one
that.
I know is pretty valuable, but I think they're now putting out one that's like, oh, Marvel superheroes, Battle for the Gems, MVC1, MVC2, superheroes versus Street Fighter, X-Men versus Street Fighter, the whole deal. Maybe even Children of the Atom.
I've only heard about MVC2 getting a re-release because of our new one-up arcade.
Yeah, it kind of, it doesn't guarantee like the possibility of any of those games getting remastered, but my God, could you imagine if after the whole Darkstalkers release this year, they announced for June of 2023 the Marvel vs. Capcom collection?
Featuring yeah, go ahead.
With how antsy the Marvel rights tend to get for video games and how quickly video games that aren't Sony Spider-Man tend to go off and on and on and off and off and on the storefronts, I feel like that would be an immediate thing of everybody rush and get this shit while you can.
Yeah. Pre-order now to get an exclusive copy of Marvel Ultimate Alliance and Deadpool.
Oh boy. I've managed to get get copies of Ultimate Alliance, but Deadpool has eluded me as of yet. Well, actually, I have a physical copy of Deadpool, but a digital copy of Deadpool on PlayStation has eluded me yet.
But the question is, would you actually want a digital copy of Deadpool?
It's not a bad game. It's not really a good game either, but it's not a bad game.
It's the game.
Yeah. It's the big game.
Yeah.
Suffer and Succotash.
Deadpool is one of those games like if I could have two Activision superhero games released just to add to my collection, I would immediately go with fucking Shattered Dimensions and Deadpool, because Shattered Dimensions I've played and I liked, and Deadpool is just so much of a fucking it's just a clusterfuck, and I need to see how it actually works, because from what my memory says, it really doesn't in many ways.
It's kind of an awkward attempt at making a third-person shooter hack and slash game. The thing that always cracked me up is there's 3 different melee weapons you can collect. You can get, of course, you start with the dual swords, and then there's dual knives, then there's dual warhammers or dual sledgehammers, and they all use the same moveset. So Deadpool apparently has the insane upper body strength and stability required to swing sledgehammers in either hand in the same way he swings a katana.
Yeah.
Have you ever picked up a sledgehammer, by the way?
Yeah.
Those things are fucking heavy.
I know. But look, you don't know what those katanas are made of.
To be fair, adamantium's probably super light. Because, like, it's a crazy good metal.
Yeah.
Then again, adamantium's heavy enough that Wolverine weighs 500 pounds because his skeleton's made out of it. Wolverine is like 5'0", 500 pounds. That, like, to anyone who doesn't know he's a mutant, that must be the greatest biological anomaly in history.
He's hiding all of his fat under the muscles.
Yeah. It is highly condensed fat.
Yeah.
It's one of those funny things that when you think about it, Wolverine has to have some degree of superhuman strength just by nature of the fact that he can get out of bed in the fucking morning, you know?
Yeah.
Either which way.
But yeah, so...
Remake, remaster, your choices. Your picks!
Let's see. For remaster, CvS3. I think.
Okay.
Because I don't like that's one of those games where I wouldn't want them to touch it too much. Like, you know, maybe do something about roll canceling and stuff like that.
I was about to say, have there be, because the arcade collection so far have been good about having, you know, built-in switches, the old arcade switches built into the game. have a switch roll canceling on or off.
Yeah.
Because there is a crowd that likes roll canceling, how roll canceling can make a lot of special moves safer. But at the end of the day, it's also not only a completely unnecessary input hurdle for new players, but on top of that, it makes certain characters like Bison, Blanca, and Balrog way too fucking strong.
Yeah, so as you said, make it like a switch, and that shouldn't take too much work for it to put them over into remake territory. Because like otherwise, I'm fine with Darkstalkers 1 more again. But
yeah, Morrigan. There's a couple alpha sprites in CvS2 that also have not aged super well.
Yeah,
and it gets to be super awkward because all the KOF guys have absolutely gorgeous sprites, and then it's like, yeah, here's fucking Alpha Dalseem or whoever. Alpha Dalseem didn't look too bad. Yeah, Doll's Cammy. Oh, that one's a rough one.
but yeah, like it's one of those things where like I want a new version of CvS2 so I can get a screen cap and fucking print through one of Rugel's wing quotes, because I just love that one of Rugel's wing quotes in that game is "Evil is the spice of life." That's it.
Yeah. Rugel, yeah, like KOF, the other KOF villains, they put in some degree of effort to try and give them a logical explanation to why they are the way they are. Rugel's just like, I love turning people into gold! It makes me feel good!
Yeah. Rugel doesn't need
Anyways, I'm going to kick you in the face.
Rugel doesn't need an explanation. Like, the next time, if they bring up Rugel, or bring back Rugel, like in the storyline, in like 16 or something, instead of doing all of this, how did he survive the last bombing or whatever, or, how did he survive killing himself again and then dying again or whatever the fuck for the third time?
They don't need to explain verse. Remember?
I know, but I just really want them to reintroduce him. When everyone's shocked, he just goes, "Rugel is," and I just starts beating people up.
Only Omega Rugel can get away with that.
Yeah. Now just have him like get attacked by fucking like, I don't know, like Shingo or Athena's boyfriend. I forget his name. Kenzo. Yeah. Yeah, like have him beat up Kenzo.
What character?
Like just,
what character out of the KOF cast, and you are not allowed to pick Choi or Chang, what character out of the KOF cast would you most love to see Rugel brutally, bloodily, gorily murder on screen? And you can't pick Choi or Chang.
I mean, I could go with
Athena.
I was about to say I could go with the V-Master.
I honestly should have picked Athena over Chang.
No, I like Chang more than I do Choi.
Well, that's what I was saying. Chang people generally have some degree.
No, the other way around. I like Choi better than Chang.
Choi's Freddy Krueger, right? The tiny one?
Yeah.
Oh. I think Choi's a fucking menace. I don't hate him as much as everyone else does, but I think he's a menace.
Oh no, I'm scared of fighting him, but you know, he's not just, his character isn't fat.
Chang, I feel like I'm a little unnecessarily positive towards Chang because of the. Not only do I love the ball and chain moveset, but what game was it where they gave him, like, he got some imitation Kim Kafwan moves, but they all suck?
I remember the moves, but not which game they were introduced in. Might have been 98.
Yeah. I also always think of CvS2 where they used Chang as a way of getting Chang and Choi both on the roster without taking up 2 spots.
Yeah. But yeah, like I don't really hate a whole lot of characters. Like the ones that I don't like, I just like passively don't like. Like I could say the fucking the Cyber Ninja guy from Latin America, because I didn't really care for him, but like I don't hate him enough to actually want to see him disemboweled by Rugel, you know? I guess you can go ahead with yours while I think of mine, because I don't remember if I.
I'm the wrong person to ask.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Mr. Easy to Please all the time. I could probably list on like one hand the fighting game characters that I dislike in any fighting game. Dislike hard enough that it's like I never want to see them again. And honestly, 3 of them are Street Fighter characters.
I mean, that's I'm sort of the same way. I'm just more vocal about the people who are like I see them on the roster. I'm just like, really, this guy. But I've never I've never offended enough to be like, I don't want to see this person ever again.
I've kind of like observed down the years that if I put in enough time with any fighting game character, I can grow to love them. But with that said, I will never apply that same standard to El Fuerte, Rufus, or what's her name, Magic Girl from Alpha.
I want to call her Effie, but that's a Fire Emblem character.
Even
Ingrid.
her, I don't think I've seen enough. Even Ingrid, I don't think I've seen enough of her to really judge. But yeah, Rufus and El Fuerte can fuck off and die forever, please. Like, just start Street Fighter 6 with, man, Ryu, it's a good thing you killed that Nikali guy. Unfortunately, you weren't able to stop him before he ate El Fuerte and Rufus. And then Ryu says, actually, it worked out. Eating El Fuerte and Rufus made Nikali 10 times weaker.
El Fuerte was really bad on his stomach.
El Fuerte heard Nikali talking about how much he wanted to eat, and El Fuerte was like, I have great Mexican cooking. Oh, no, not me.
Yeah.
I know I said I do the tortilla press, but that doesn't mean I am the tortilla.
Not yet, says Nikali.
Like, El Fuerte just dies slowly, getting absorbed into Nikali, going, burrito, fajita, chalupa!
Yeah. And then Rufus climbs in off after him because he heard food.
Oh, God. No, he heard Ken.
Yeah.
Ken. Oh, God, Ken's eating me. Ken is off somewhere in the background. What? I'm doing what now?
Rufus walks up to fucking Nikali like, Ken, why did you change your haircut? And where are your pants?
Ken, why are you turning into goo?
It's kind of hot, but I don't like it.
No, Nikali, after eating both of them, Nikali's like, I feel shittier now.
Yeah.
Like, it's like after you eat really greasy food from a bad restaurant, you get a fucking bowling alley or strip club burger, and it's just like,
yeah.
I'm fine, guys. I can hold it down.
But yeah, I guess there's no.
And no, that isn't a greasy joke about a Mexican dude. It's a greasy joke about a fat dude. There you go.
But yeah, so I guess I don't really hate any of the KOF cast enough to be like I want to actually see them get disemboweled by Rugal. I guess if you had to go with someone, I'd say either the dude I just brought up, the Cyber Ninja guy, or June
Bandero or whatever.
Yeah, Banderas, I think. Or
Banderas. Did they just name him Banderas because the actor Antonio Banderas?
Probably.
Oh my God.
Or I guess his boxer friend. I didn't like his design.
I love that kid. Hey.
Or Jun.
Who's Jun?
I forget. The guy who was on Kim's team, I think in 2002. The other Taekwondo guy.
Oh, Mr. Stance Switchman.
Yeah.
What's the issue with him?
Yeah, I just didn't like him very much. Nothing too deep.
He's competition for Kim. He must go.
Yeah. The competition must be eliminated. Like, even when I think of the weirdos, I'm just like, well, the Duck King. I don't mind Duck King.
I love Duck King.
Yeah.
He's got a bird in his hair.
Or like fucking Xanadu. I like Xanadu. He's too weird for me not to like.
Xanadu's great.
Yeah. I wish Xanadu came back for 15. I need more Xanadu.
That's a character that starts with weird appearance. Oh, he's a cult leader. Oh, that makes sense. And then you see his moveset, and it's just like, okay, this stop making sense altogether, and I love it.
Yeah. And then, like, aside from those guys, like, what other weirdos are there even? Like, the American sports team, whom I like, so,
Oh my god, like, Rugal brutally murders whoever, and is like, now it's time to bring in my favorites, the American sports team. This time they can't lose their invitations. I personally invited them.
And then they got to the American sports team, but they've been possessed by Orochi.
Oh no!
Fucking
Orochi Brian Battler can just fly. He can.
Yeah.
He has like Magneto, Doctor Doom, Marvel vs. Capcom shit of 8-way air dashes.
Yes. And then Lucky Glauber has an actual Chaos Dunk. Nuking everything.
It even turns the background into a crater.
Yeah.
Heavy D just punches you hard now.
Yeah, I was about to say, all of Heavy D's moves trigger a fatality.
You mean a brutality?
Yeah.
They even play the little sound effect. Da-da-da.
Yeah. Like, it's one of those things where you get the Rugal, and then he sends out one of them after you, or one of the Orochi American sports team members after you, and you just pray to RNG that it's not fucking Heavy D. Because if it's Heavy D, then boy, you can't block, you can't you can't get hit, you need to dodge.
If Heavy D, to balance it, if Heavy D it whiffs, or if you use some kind of reflect move on him, Heavy D brutalizes himself.
If he whiffs, he stays open for like a whole minute.
Yeah.
And then if he do a reflect,
he's not even.
Yeah.
He doesn't take hit stun. He's just in recovery for an hour.
Yeah.
So you just hit him.
But he does have super armor, so you can combo him for a while.
Yeah.
Without it actually hitting him out of it and resetting him.
Yeah.
And then if you do a reflect, then yeah, he brutalizes himself.
That was always such a good thing in Mortal Kombat X. Any character that had a projectile brutality, if you used one of the few characters that had reflects, you could actually put characters through their own brutality. Kung Lao could chop his own head off with the hat and so on.
Yeah. But yeah, so as for a remake, there's a couple that are not that well known, really. Well, okay, one of them is obvious, but the other one is not well known. My first answer to them already.
Guilty Gear Exard.
No. Avoid the Night Rise, but no. Basara Cross.
Oh god, of course. See, my brain was starting to get close there. I was like, Hokuto no Ken? And it was right on the cusp there.
Do we have a bingo yet?
Let me see.
Alright. But yeah, I'd like a new, or I'd like our remade Basara Cross, because I
think we would have bingo if one of us brings up someone from outside the podcast without context.
All right.
Alternatively, we could get a bingo by saying bringing up Akuma or Rugal as a guest character, or one of us doing a Terry Bogard impression.
Okay. Hasn't the first one happened? yet.
Have
guess-
we mentioned anyone from outside the podcast?
No.
Have we mentioned Pink?
No, I mean, didn't we talk about Akuma and Rugal as guest characters? Because CVS, but I don't know if that technically counts as guests.
We did bring up CVS, but we didn't talk about Akuma or Rugal in it.
I guess so. That is true. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'd like a new Buster Cross because I want to.
Pink. There we go. Now we've got bingo.
All right, cool. So yeah, I'd like a remake of Buster Cross because I wanted to give it another shot. Like for one, it's one of those things where like I want a new something in the IP. That's one. Two.
I have a stupid question.
Yeah.
Between three options, God comes down, or no, you find a genie in the desert, and the genie's like, "Hey, I work in reverse. Rather than you giving me 3 wishes, I'm going to give you 3 options, and you pick one. So you can choose. Either you get Yakuza 8, and it plays like classic Yakuza. The new Assassin's Creed in Japan plays like classic Assassin's Creed, goes back to the style of Revelations. Or you get a new Sengoku Basara. Which do you choose?
I choose the last one just because if it actually like sell like it's one of those okay.
Capcom's the least likely to betray you.
Yeah, if it sells well, Capcom will continue making Sengoku Basara after that. Whereas Yakuza, even if I was given the option, I wouldn't want them to go back to the thing anymore. Like they passed me by and it's fine. Like I don't like I have Yakuza 7 sitting on my hard drive. I have not booted it up yet. I'm waiting for things to be right before I give it a try. But you know, it's a new cast of characters. Yeah.
I just had a stupid idea.
Yeah.
What if Yakuza has to change their entire gameplay style every time they get a new protagonist?
Yeah. That seems to be the thing.
So it's like 3 games from now, this guy retires, and it's like, time for the new Yakuza man. The game is now an RTS.
Yeah. I mean, there was an RTS part in Kiwami too.
Oh yeah, the construction stuff, right?
Yeah. So I guess the new protagonist is Majima.
Majima trying to fully take over all of Tokyo.
Yeah. No, the weird one would be like, fucking. Okay, you Yakuza protagonist. It is now a 2D Metroidvania.
Yeah.
Why not?
What a terrible night to have. What a terrible night to have a vendetta. No,
Yeah.
that's more Italian mafia. What a terrible night to have dishonored my clan.
Yeah.
What a terrible night to be Korean.
Oh no. All right then.
Isn't that something they do constantly in fucking Yakuza,
Yeah,
the secret Koreans?
That's still a thing. Yes, even in 7.
Oh no!
Like one of the most beloved teammates apparently in 7 is secret Korean. No one should know that he is secret Korean, even though he looks like the guy from 6, I think, and has the same moveset and stuff like that. Because you know, reusing like it's one of those things where like I get them reusing animations and stuff like that because you know that saves on cost. Why does he look like the same guy? Is he the same guy? I forget.
No, it's just Yakuza being. It's just the Yakuza. It's just the real good Gotoku team being racist.
Yeah, probably.
It's like how every time you run into a Chinese person in Yakuza, they always come up like, "I speak English," and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. But yeah, like I wouldn't want Yakuza 8 to go back to the old gameplay style because I've made my peace with Yakuza passing me by. Like that's fine, whatever. Like I'll give Ichiban a try because I have 7 here, so I might as well. But I don't see myself actually liking Ichiban.
And come to think of it,
yeah,
the AC one isn't too tempting either because there's Ghost of Tsushima and soon to be Ghost of Tsushima 2.
And not only that, but even if they went back to the old ways and made that game that way and all that, for one, what is my what proves it to me that it's not just a one-off, which they are doing with Mirage. Mirage is supposedly going back to the roots of the series and all that, and trying to fucking make it work with their new setup somewhat, but but mostly trying to stay true to the old ways. And like for one, yeah, go ahead.
Honestly, between that and going back to the Arab setting, like that actually sounds super interesting to me. I might have to pay attention to Mirage.
Yeah, Mirage. I'm interested in Mirage cautiously, but it's one of those things where like if it's gonna be on PS Plus or if they actually show off gameplay that looks good, then I might get it. But otherwise, like they showed off the announcement teaser thing trailer where that was all CG and just referenced all of the other CG animations for the old games, and they pointed this out. Then it referenced the older games. Like they did a breakdown, and every time they did a shot or reference shot to an older game teaser, they were like, isn't this cool? Do you remember the announcement trailer for Brotherhood? Yeah, we do. But like, they showed off that thing, and then they were like, that's it. They showed off that thing, and they were immediately like, okay, so pre-order the game for $500. See you next year. And
later, fuckers.
Yeah. And like, I'll wait until they release more gameplay, or actually gameplay. In fact, and all that. They have. You might like it because it has no modern day, which good. But
yeah, thank you.
Like we got into this argument last week, the other podcast this week. But like the reason I like the modern day somewhat is because of the aesthetics that it gives the game. But otherwise, I don't care either. So like, like the pretty much just give me Sean writing the database entries. Maybe reference him and Rebecca in the database entries sometimes or whatever. Have the guy who voices Sean maybe like do some voice work on the side because I like him and all that. But
yeah,
otherwise, I like the way the sci-fi stuff you influences the UI and how the animus walls look and all that. And I prefer the way Valhalla handles the animus walls than the old games because it's a context sensitive thing where if you don't walk up next to them, then they're not there. But if you do, then they start glitching in and all that.
Yeah,
like that sort of stuff I like because it doesn't take me out of the immersion. I'm just like, okay, cool. So the animus wall is here then. I need to go back.
Like, I'm fine with the animus walls. Like, that part I'm not too worried about. It's the like, let's interrupt the actual story to have a little bit of old, what's-his-face sitting around being like, I don't want to be an assassin. But you are.
Yeah.
But Templars. Conspiracy. God.
Yeah, like I agree with you. I also dislike those parts where they interrupt the game with that sort of stuff. Like once again, I like the theatrics of the modern day and some of the side characters, but they only it only got worse in the newer games because there's entire chapters in Valhalla where you do nothing but play as the gods. You play as the Isu because everyone is on fucking a rebirth of Odin, who existed, I guess. Like they try to explain it in the same way that they try to explain the weird magical stuff happening in Far Cry, which is drugs. But drugs is like that sort of stuff is just the same thing as them going, oh, it was all a dream. Assassin's Creed was all a dream. It didn't happen.
Yep.
But anyway, so what was I going to say? Yeah, so even if Codename Red went back to the way all the old games handled and all that, there's nothing proving to me that they won't go back to the RPG stuff because it pays better because you can more easily monetize it. And also, I don't like. I've played Ubisoft games for a fucking long while. I don't think I would expect them to actually improve in a manner that's quantifiable on the old formula. And that was the big thing that made the old formula go away. That they didn't improve on the old formula enough for it to be quantifiable.
Yeah.
So yeah, so yeah, that's basically why I want to use Sengoku Basara out of those three, because like with Sengoku Basara, if Sengoku Basara does well, it probably won't do a whole lot different than what it's done before, but there will be more of it, and that's fine. Like sometimes it's nice to sit down and have an arcade game to go through, and Sengoku Basara is pretty much that because I don't fucking speak Japanese.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'd want Basara Cross to be remade as one of my things because I want to see Arxis' current art style be done with those characters. And also, I would hope that they somehow make the simplification work better. Because Basara Cross was already a simplified game. Like, similarly to GranBlue or Strive. The only difference is they only simplified the inputs. They didn't simplify the gameplay. So, you only have like Shoryukens and Hadokens for motions. But at the same time, Hokuto no Ken combos. Why not?
Yeah.
And like I just
Oh boy.
yeah. It's one of those things where once again with the disk switches, like I would want them to somehow make like two versions of the game, or not two versions, but two separate balanced states for the game. One where they don't really touch it, and it's just the old PS2 balance, and they have like a competitive mode toggle in the options, where the competitive mode has some balance changes to make it so it's not a complete kusoge, like so you can immediately dribble people.
Yeah.
And then
That seems like it would be a bit of a priority to perhaps make the game more interesting, both at the competitive and casual levels.
yeah, so like do that, and maybe add a couple more characters because more characters were added to the roster since Basara 3, and like maybe even as DLC if nothing else, and then just release it. I'd be fine with that. Alternatively, I wouldn't mind the remake of Soul Eater Battle Resonance because it's a PS2. It's a PS2 Japan exclusive 3D fighting game, and I don't really know how it works, and I want to know how it works. Like, so Soul Eater is a
Yeah.
series that I enjoyed a lot. So obviously that's a part of it too. But also once again, like it seemed to play somewhat like Soul Calibur or Tekken, judging from the videos that I remember watching. But I don't think that's completely true. And I need to actually like get my hands on it to know what it actually feels like, which is probably bad. Let's be real. Like it's it's a fucking fighting game made for a series for a fucking cartoon series. Like near the end of the PS2's lifespan, if memory serves. So probably didn't have a whole lot of
Yeah.
budget.
No, probably not.
But yeah, I'd want that to be remade by someone competent. Assuming it wasn't made by who was it made by? Actually, now that I'm here, I might as well look it up. Oh, it was also on the PSP. Apparently, not just the PS2. But let's see. All right. Okay, it was a Bemco game. Well,
A Bamco game?
it was published by Bemco. It was developed by Beck, BEC.
Never heard of them.
Me neither. It was released. What the actual fuck? This game was made to fail. Soul Eater Battle Resonance. Released in on January 29th, 2009 for the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation Portable. The PS3 was out for 2 years.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
To be fair, Persona 4 came out in 2008 on the PS2.
But that's still pretty bad though. Like uh, it's one of those things where like I can get it, but also why wasn't there a port? But yeah,
Yeah.
so I love this. I'll read it out in a bit. But yeah, so I want this game to be remade by someone more competent, I guess, than Beck. Assuming the initial game wasn't good, which I wouldn't know. And I
Technically, there's no way of knowing.
yeah, and just like pushed up to today's standards with graphics and shit like that. Like if it's I'm assuming it will still be a Bamco published game because they handle all of the anime licenses, every single one, and as such, like I don't know, like basically, if we could get a JoJo All Star Battle R out of this game with rollback, hopefully, I'd be satisfied.
Yeah.
Like just a lot of fan service and some good single player content, maybe hopefully rollback, and then also combat mechanic that isn't too uh hard to understand, but also has some oomph to it. Because like All Star Battle R has side steps, it has the sand stuff, it has roaming cancels, it has fuck ton of other shit. They just added air dashes if memory serves in R. So just give it that sort of treatment. Take this game and just make it bonkers. Give it more fan service and a bit more of a budget maybe. They redo the models so they look on par with today. So they actually look like they're from the show. And considering that you can do half of that through cell shading, it shouldn't cost that much to make the models either.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to point out. So one of the characters from this show is called Excalibur. Excalibur, his whole shtick is being annoying to the rest of the cast for whenever he's on screen, pretty much. And you unlock Excalibur by beating Adventure Mode, replaying it, which should give you extra missions, completing all 49 missions, and beating him 5 times in mission 50. Which sounds like a fucking pain in the ass. But I'm looking at this and I'm like, yes, this is in character. This is how this should be. And the other good part is that this game has most of the characters who have appeared on the show as fighting because the show is very short. So you could leave some of these guys, some of these guys who are unlockable. There's 5 unlockable characters. 3 of them you get, or 2 of them you get for beating arcade mode. 1 of them you get for doing the story mode. So you could just easily make those 3 be unlocked by default in the remake. Leave the other 2 very special unlocks, or at least Excalibur, that way, because that's in character, and I want it to remain that way because it's dumb. And then just make the other 2 characters who are not playable in the game, but are still in playable, and it would and you'd have a game, and this would even be easy to balance because there's only, let's see, 15 characters in the whole game. So this is genuinely a realistic game to balance. Give it remake it, give it fucking rollback. It might even have a fucking crowd eventually.
Possibly. I don't know how popular the anime was, but possibly.
It depends how popular. It's one of those things where like if you make a Soul Eater reference, people will comment about how it's Soul Eater reference, but otherwise most people don't really make Soul Eater references. So I don't know. All I know is that the moon and the sun from that show should be featured in more things. They were great. The moon and the sun were characters.
I see.
But yeah. And I guess those are mine. Like neither of my remake ones are the games you would expect, but like Guilty Gear XX, if they tried remaking that, it would only get worse in my opinion. Like you could argue that like it's one of those things where like I don't think that they could make I don't think they would want to make the characters look as grungy as they did in XX again, even if they could. And uh otherwise, like a lot of the or some of the mechanics would have to change if they try, or some of the mechanics would change if they tried remaking it because they wouldn't be able to sell them as easily nowadays with those mechanics. So it's one of those things where like if you try to remake XX, it loses part of what makes it XX. With XZ would be an easier game to remake, but it's also not that old of a game. It's only like nearly 10 years old. Wow.
Yeah.
But you know, but still, like the biggest sin that XZ has a couple of sins. The biggest sins it has are Danger Time, Yellow Roman Cancel, and the netcode. And all of those three are fixed in Strive. As much as I, may not like how Strive handles things a lot of times. Like, Guilty Gear continuing the way it has means that improvements have been made. And, like a lot of the characters that I liked in Exert are in Strive, or anyway. Yeah, words. So, whatever with that. Otherwise, there's not really the only ones that I could really shout out for a remake specifically are these licensed games, because what are the chances of these things getting a sequel and getting improved upon? Pretty much none. Like, there's gonna be a new Street Fighter, there's gonna be a new KOF, there's not gonna be a new Hokuto no Ken or a new Soul Eater Battle Resonance or a new Master Cross. But yeah. So that was one of the topics. There we go. All right, here's another interesting one. Besides rollback, readable UI, and matchmaking that actually works, what were innovations in fighting game design do you wish were more common by now?
Besides, say those again.
Besides rollback, readable UI, and matchmaking that actually works, what were innovations in fighting game design do you wish were more common by now?
Frame data in the move list from NRS. Short, quick explanations for what a move should be used for. Take that from Guilty Gear Strive. I think one other game has done it, but I can't remember off the top of my head. GranBlue probably. Arc just right now is just getting good at that, but they need. I'd like to see frame data thrown in. I'd also prefer that you not have to pay for it. Cough, cough, Tekken.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Other than that, I mean, there's some little training mode things that are super nice, of course, like being able to take a bit from an actual match that you played and put it on the AI in training mode to repeat it. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
But that's about all I can think of.
All right. Well, rare innovations. Let's see. I would like more bursts in games that need it. Like you don't need a burst in Street Fighter. You probably need a burst in Guilty Gear, which is why there is one. But that's pretty much my point, is that I see a lot of games trying to be more hyper and stuff like that, while also still missing a burst. And just the more bursts, please. Fuck it, put it in Street Fighter 2. It would be funny.
It would, considering there's no combos that are really more than 3 hits.
Yeah. I don't know what you'd use bursts for in Street Fighter, but whatever. They have it now, I guess. No. It's meant for they at Gil. If Gil can do big combo again, then you can use it specifically for Gil. It's the Gil button.
Yeah. Just kill Gil.
Yeah. And then when you go into the options, or whatever, you go into the tutorial, You look up what that button does, and it just says immediately trigger resurrection.
Huh?
But yeah, that. Let's see what else. Hmm. I wouldn't mind more. Like, I don't know if this is an innovation in fighting games, or fighting game design per se, but I wouldn't mind more actually imaginative things with your story modes, like GranBlue did, right? It wasn't just completely, one to one, just an arcade mode with more cutscenes or whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, Tekken did this a while before GranBlue did, and just like GranBlue, it also tripped and fell, but it tried, both of them. And let's see what else. I guess packet loss indicator or whatever the fuck,
Yeah.
or like a ping indicator.
I mean, variable netcode. The guy said rollback, but he didn't clarify variable. Variable's pretty nice.
Yeah, variable. Yeah, please, for the love of God, don't use raw rollback. You use mixed netcode. That's both rollback and delay based, so they cover each other's ass. Uh, and I guess that's my list for that stuff.
All right.
Because otherwise, I can't really think. Like, the problem isn't that there's not fucking like good innovations in fighting games. The problem is that they're rare, as the post pointed out. Like, it takes a long time to think about stuff that actually like mattered, that really innovated. Because like usually innovation recently has usually just been like dash button. All right, cool. I can do without this. Like,
Well,
it doesn't.
Dash button is like one button specials. It's not just a convenience thing. It's also a balance change.
Yeah. And it's one of it's one of those changes where if you go, hey, I don't like this change, people immediately go, well, why do you hate accessibility? Why don't you want people who are not able bodied to play the game? And like, it changes more. Also, fighting games are like, I don't know if you've noticed, fighting games are not really the most accessible video game genre. Just like on basis of how it exists. Like, like making fighting games accessible is only really possible through making it not be fighting games as they have existed thus far.
I don't entirely agree, but I'm not in the right mindset to argue that.
I don't know. A lot of the ways, at least, that people are going for that stuff just feels or whatever. Like, it feels like it's missing the forest for the trees, and you're just trying to change, or rather changing fighting games in a weird way uh that's not good for anyone, pretty much. Like, I'm sure fighting games could be a lot more accessible with like data and stuff like that, and that wouldn't change shit. But as you pointed out, like one button specials, one button running, stuff like that, is not just a design decision, but also a balance decision, and that does change how the game plays. And
Yeah.
like it's one of those things where like colorblind options and stuff like that. Sure, put that into fighting games because that doesn't change shit. That doesn't change the game's balance. That there's like colorblind options or whatever. But one button dashes do, and then that's something that developers have to put more thought into.
It's been something that we've talked about a lot, and it gets talked about a lot just in general. I think that people are generally inclined to go hard one way or hard the other because we're human beings. We search for the easiest answer, and we like for things to fit into little boxes. So it's easier to just say we shouldn't bother making any accessibility stuff. We shouldn't bother conceding any elements of fighting game design to make it more acceptable, more comfortable for new players. We shouldn't bother with any of that. And then conversely, there's the crowd that say fighting games fundamentally need to go because they're an old-fashioned genre that are impossible for new players to get into. At the end of the day, a lot of talk is going to boil down to just that because what I just said, plus it's the internet, hyperbole rises to the top.
Yeah.
People listen to hyperbole, and there are wider societal issues caused by the things that are also causing issues for fighting games. At the end of the day, it needs to be a measured stance with a lot of thought going behind it. And at the end of the day, when you're just a social media guy, you're just a YouTube guy, you're just a Twitter guy, odds are you aren't going to be putting as much thought into it as the video game developer would have to. You are going to be trying to come up with a straight up off the cuff answer because, let's be real here, if you're on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook and you don't have an immediate answer, like in video game development, it's not so much about having a knee-jerk answer as it is having a well-thought answer. But in social media, you're more so subject to the discretion of the plebs. The morons, the peanut gallery, the fucking fart factory who all think that who all huff their own farts and are the bottom lowest common denominators of intellect and think they're the highest.
Yeah.
And these guys, generally speaking, when you have to play to these crowds, which on some level all social media people have to, unless they deliberately build a career on being controversial, you have to have a knee-jerk quick answer because these guys do not judge on the quality of the answer. They judge on the speed of the answer. How quick did you come up with an answer? Most people are not inclined by nature, and most people do not like to hear as an answer, I need to think on it more. We are worried that if somebody hears us say, I need to think on it more, we think everybody else took us for an idiot. And if you are an idiot, then you hear somebody else say, I need to think on it more, and then an idiot's way of viewing that is, oh, so you don't know then. All right, well, I won't fucking listen to you, you fuck. Or what have you.
I like how Jim Cornette is the person saying this.
Yeah, I accidentally did a Jim Cornette there. That's probably my best Jim Cornette yet, and I didn't even mean to. Fuck. Can't make that happen twice. Anyways, so at the end of the day, it kind of has to be on an issue-by-issue basis. And credit where credit is due. And I know this is the stereotype for me that like you and me are the complete opposites on this, that it oftentimes can seem like I am just repeating what I hear on YouTube. And conversely, it can sometimes seem like you refuse to observe anything on YouTube. And of course, we develop these stereotypes as part of our social natures, and the stereotypes aren't true. I can have my own thoughts, and you can watch a YouTube video, and we've done both in the past. But I do go back to saying here, well, Sajam, I think, is a great example of a YouTuber who does put more thought into it. But Sajam, because he puts more thought into it, generally when Sajam speaks on an issue, I think he generally tends to clean out everyone who's opposed to him. Because, I don't know, he's smart like that. Conversely, I will say, Max may perhaps not be the smartest from a fighting game design standpoint, but he's pretty smart from an industry standpoint. Core Gaming makes excellent videos explaining things in a way that everybody can understand. Core Gaming has a bad habit of sometimes being a tad elitist.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's, for the fighting game accessibility thing, it's an ideal that must be pursued because the genre needs to stay alive. I think that a lot of people can misunderstand why fighting games were popular in the 90s, though, and not today. Because no matter what, you need to look at it that way. Because Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3, the original Killer Instincts, the original KOFs were all incredibly popular in a way that every fighting game nowadays that isn't called Mortal Kombat or Tekken struggles to come anywhere near to. And those games were as inaccessible as it gets by our modern standards of accessibility. And that's honestly why I think stuff like saying if we want to make fighting games popular again, we need better online, can cut more to the heart of the issue than just saying we need one button input specials. Because at the end of the day, people were still playing Street Fighter even if they couldn't throw Hadokens, or they would just learn how to do a fucking Hadoken. And even back then, like, you'd have to get a friend to teach you how to do it because the game didn't make it too explicit.
Yeah, not only that, but the game. But, assuming we're talking about the arcade times, the game didn't tell you shit. There was no skill list. There was no training mode. You put in the quarter, and then you had to figure it out on the fly, and then you'd probably lose your quarter in the meantime.
But the thing that has been really brutal on fighting games is that throughout the 2000s and the early 2010s, arcades died out, and so did local multiplayer. And at the end of the day, local multiplayer now, when it exists, is for party games. It is for Jackbox, it is for Smash Brothers, it is for a few other games. And the thing is, at the end of the day, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, that can only maintain 2 people. Not good for a party. And nowadays, people don't so much call over just a singular friend, or just 2 friends. Yeah, a party game is a party game for a reason, and outside of that, local multiplayer isn't the thing it used to be at all. And the thing is that while the majority of multiplayer-reliant games caught up through online multiplayer, fighting games lagged behind pretty hard. And of course, like we've already discussed endlessly, why didn't rollback games catch up? So why didn't online multiplayer games catch up? But either which way, that has been a big element. Fighting games were so big in the 90s because it was like, go to the arcade with your buddies, or, pop the Super Street Fighter 2 cartridge into your Super Nintendo and play it with your buddies. And nowadays, you don't do either of those things anymore. Not even in Japan.
Yeah, and like, another thing that I think makes it a problem is this idea.
And you know what? Actually, I need to throw in one more thing that is
right.
not even related to fighting games having this online netcode stuff issue. It's that back in the 90s, playing a game at an arcade or playing a game on your couch, if the guy you were sitting next to after losing said, okay, pardon my French here, I'm going to go legit here for legit language, and I'm going to say stuff that could probably stand to be censored, but like, oh my god, you're so fucking bad, fucking uninstall the game, kill yourself. And back in the 90s, if the guy sitting next to you said that, you could headbutt him. Nowadays, you can't.
Yeah.
See, back in the day, like, this is one of those things, like, I don't get in on Ted's whole thing of, like, well, society has fallen over because young men can't beat each other up anymore. In terms of, like, I don't think that it's good for young men to be acting out their aggression by getting into fights. However, I will say there is a definite element of societal decline.
They should instead be acting it out by getting into fighting games.
Yeah! Worked for low tier god.
Yeah.
But there is a definite element of societal decline in terms of people are just assholes to a certain degree more in public, but especially online nowadays, because there is no consequences to it.
Yeah.
People don't get socked in the jaw for this stuff even in public anymore, but online, even if it was still acceptable to sock someone in the jaw for like calling you names to your face or getting in your, I don't know, sister's face or whatever, even if it was online, what are you going to do? Reach through your fucking PlayStation to sock the guy in the face? No.
Yeah, that's also a big issue. Another big issue, if you ask me, is
social anxiety. That's why I'm just going to wrap that up there. And you can take over on that one because you've experienced that worse than I do.
Oh,
but
yeah.
The social anxiety of playing fighting games with other people online is so much worse than playing it offline, just by nature of online, the rules of social behavior seem to no longer apply.
Yeah, online, I can't pile drive the guy for calling me names.
Fucking, like, the guy calls you names at the arcade cabinet. You just rip your shirt off and you're somehow Ken Kabashi underneath.
Yeah.
You just start giving him the machine gun chops while he's pressed against the arcade machine.
Yeah.
The other people in the arcade are counting the chops.
And then I do lariat that breaks the arcade machine. And then I have to pay.
Yeah. You won't burning hammer this one. You gotta save that one for special occasions, but you will give this one a brain buster.
Maybe even a Tiger Driver.
Somebody kicked out of that one, so it's a tier below.
Yeah.
Only one person, but still.
Shit. But yeah, social anxiety is a big problem. One of the reasons I don't play fighting games online is because one of the things that you go into, this is actually literally the point I was going to bring up, is that a lot of people have this false idea. And since I'm talking about it, you would assume that it wouldn't apply to me. But some people have this false idea that you need to be good to play online. And good means many things, but basically good in this instance means able to provide an enjoyable time through your performance. People don't want to play online either because they know that that it won't be fun for the other guy, because either they're gonna get destroyed, or they will fucking feel like they're getting sandbagged by a guy who doesn't know what they're doing, or they don't want to do it because how do I express shit? Whatever. But yeah, so how do I get my point across? Like basically, it feels like going online to people who are like low to or fucking like low to intermediate to low intermediate level of play is a thing of like, well, I don't want to waste everyone's time here. It is, if we're going with what we would have done in the arcade, it's like, well, everyone at my arcade is not only better than me, but considering the couple of times I've seen them talking while I was outside the arcade, they would just make fun of me. So why should I go to the arcade?
To be fair with the arcade, you don't necessarily have to get into the arcade crowd. You can just go with your regular friends from school. But on top of that, like, if it's in person like that, even if they...
Isn't that what we're doing, though? Isn't that how I play online?
That is what we're doing, yes. See, you and I are able to get around the issue, though we need more. We need a bigger pool.
Yeah, we need to enlist more people.
Yeah. That's, but either which way, like, even then with the arcades, if the guys were obviously better than you, it becomes a thing of, like, dude, how'd you do that? You gotta show me. Dude, I'll pay you $20, show me how you just did that.
Yeah.
Whereas online, you don't really do that. The guy's just gonna be like, no, I'm just gonna move on to my next match. Okay, bye.
Yeah, like, even if...
GG no re.
Yeah. It depends on the person. There are more people who are like GG no re, and also, like, the speech capabilities are not there, because you can't talk with the other guy during a fight, and if you did that, it would be fucking hell. So there's a reason you can't do it. But also, even after it, like, usually during normal matchmaking, there's no way to speak with other people. The only way to speak with other people in matchmaking is player rooms, and even those are lacking this capability a lot of times. Otherwise, you could try doing stuff on Discord or whatever else, but that's also a more
no casual player is going to join a Discord.
Yeah, no casual player is going to be like, hey, I bought this game called Koihime Enbu no Rorarai. I'm going to see if it has a Discord group so I can learn how to play the fucking Three Kingdoms girls.
Like, there's no doubt that there are a lot of great Discords out there to join for fighting games, but no casual player is going to be like, I just picked up Mortal Kombat. How do I get into having fun playing against other people? Oh, I know. I'll join the Liu Kang Discord. No, you won't.
Yeah, and even those people who would otherwise, like, even the people who are at the level where they could feasibly join the Discord to improve, once again, social anxiety. Why should I join a Discord? I don't fucking know anyone there. It will just feel like I'm butting into their conversations.
To be fair, there you also did do that with our forum though, and that worked out fine.
I did do that, but my anxiety wasn't this bad when I joined the forum.
That is also true.
And you also have to remember, for the first like 2 years, I did butt into everyone's conversations, and then also got shed on for it. So
Yeah. To be fair, almost all of us were much more immature back then.
yeah. But yeah, so like that's another one of those things where like, yeah, could I find other people to train like Exert or whatever? Sure, I probably could, but it would take more effort than it is just to boot up the game, go into online, go to matchmaking, and then just do it. And even when those things happen, a lot of times, or those things work, a lot of times someone might just not fucking feel like it. Like even like I've played Street Fighter V online. I've had some funny memories playing Street Fighter V online, but I'm not playing Street Fighter V online a lot because, well, for one, I don't really like Street Fighter V. But even when I boot it up, I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna have a couple of runs on the arcade mode and then just leave because I just wanted to feel like I basically just wanted to play Street Fighter V for the next 10 minutes instead of the next 50. And and online matches are sets usually when someone's not a bitch.
Yeah.
Although it's still nothing makes me as salty as someone declining a set when they beat me, because it's like, okay, if you beat me that easily, you can do it again. It won't take long. Let's just make it official.
The GG no re method.
Yeah.
I can't risk dropping this W. In a way, it almost becomes an inherent L.
Yeah.
Really.
Like it's a thing of like they made the game might say that they won, but I won the moral fight.
Imagine it's the finals of Evo. First game, like let's say, I don't know, Daigo versus let's say just for a laugh, Daigo versus LTG. Okay, first match goes to LTG. LTG just jumps off the stage and runs.
And they're going by tournament.
And when inevitably the guy gets up on stage and goes, I guess Daigo wins by default, LTG spends the next 10 years on Twitch complaining about how he was cheated.
Yeah. Ah, shit. But yeah, like nothing upsets me more than that shit, because like, once again, whatever. If it feels like a waste of time to fight someone who's that lower level than you can't just turn the shit up to 11 and just fucking get it over with, for fuck's sake. Like, if they go out of their way to not decline your match request or whatever, or especially if they're the ones who requested first, then they probably actually want to have another go.
Yeah.
Because like, I've had matches with in multiverses, I've had matches with people where I beat them very hard, and then I go, hey, do you want to try it again? I'll give you another try. And they go, no. And I go, okay. I'm disappointed, but okay, I understand that. Because
you sir aren't getting any toast.
Yeah. But like, it's easier to understand when people are salty about losing, because whatever. Like, that's, if someone felt like they were beaten too hard and that's why they retreat, okay, the matchmaking fucked up. Like, it happens. But when someone wins and then goes GG no re, then they're just outing themselves for the cowards they are.
Yeah. It is 100%. I am only playing to collect W's. I have no other reason to play. Which it's like, well, in that case, why not just play a single-player game?
No, but you don't get it. If I don't play a single-player game, then I can't boast that I'm really good at this game, even though I'm not.
You could... there are several periods of my life where I would brag about how good I was at Devil May Cry or Dead Rising.
No, but
now, with that said, they make Dead Rising competitive. Oh boy, you better believe I'm on that shit. I mean, it's going down.
There is a Dead Rising competitive. It's called speedrunning, my dude.
You can't speedrun the main mode of Dead Rising because it inherently works on a time limit.
I mean,
You can speedrun the epilogue, but I just gotta admit I'm not super interested in that.
I mean, I don't know how Dead Rising works. There might still be like separate percent speedruns, but whatever. Like people would figure it out.
There are challenge runs. I've beaten the game once already without killing any zombies. There's also a challenge run to beat the game with the weakest weapon in the game. And I'm not gonna lie, I think I'm too cowardly to do it at the moment because it is a weapon that literally requires like 20 hits to kill a single zombie. So I don't even want to know what it looks like against a boss.
Yeah. Well, the thing I'm talking about is usually even if games are normally speedrunnable or whatever, even then people will just cut it up into like either joke categories or just subcategories. So you say like you have GTA, you have GTA like any percent which is playing through the main story, or you'd have GTA, I don't know, Rider percent where you play until you first meet Rider. Alternatively, you could have Bigfoot percent where you play the game until you find Bigfoot.
Oh God!
Yeah, and
Bigfoot percent still ongoing.
Yeah, like Bigfoot percent would be the joke one. Rider percent would be the subcategory, and then the any percent is the main run. So like going by those categories or whatever, that categorization, I'd assume that Dead Rising would have subcategories categories where like I don't know, get this weapon that's hidden in this part of the game, and then I'd put that on a timer or whatever. Like as long as it's accessible from the start.
That raises a question.
Like, may I remind you, one of the things that we still have to do is I have to speedrun Assassin's Creed Brotherhood Wetlands Ebony percent. So.
Oh no.
I mean that's kind of a joke speedrun, but still. Although my favorite is still Cheeseville percent in Skyrim, where the speedrun is going from the start of the game, saves coming and glitching your way all the way to Whiterun to make a Cheeseville in some random kitchen. And parts of the
I'm surprised they didn't use the horse launch method.
I think they did. That's how
God.
That's how you get to Whiterun.
Oh, but it doesn't work properly because Whiterun doesn't really exist in the game world.
I don't know if it was Whiterun, but it was a thing where like you have to launch yourself. I don't know if it was in the horse. I remember the mountains, but that's most of the game. But like something, launch yourself across the map, get like spawning some random kitchen, and then you also have to on the way while you're teleporting through all of time and space, you have to pick up a wooden spoon in a chef's hat, and then you wake up in a random kitchen, and you have to make a cheese wheel, and once the cheese wheel is done, that's when the timer stops.
Fucking Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Like, joke speedruns are better than normal speedruns, usually. Because of dumb shit like this. But yeah, anyway. Where were we? Oh yeah, the whole thing with keeping fighting games. Like, it's once again, it's order to close off that topic. Once again, it's the thing that I always say and both of us always say. The problem with simplified inputs and stuff like that isn't really the existence of simplified inputs. It's trying to take these things that are still very much getting tried out and trying to apply them to the entire genre. That's a problem. Because like these things existing in some games is fine, but these things existing in every game is not.
Yeah.
And speaking of, here's a good question: do you actually want new players playing fighting games? Why?
I'm sorry. What? Could you repeat that?
Do you actually want new players playing fighting games? Why? That's an actual question I found.
Because I like dunking on the noobs. It makes my pee-pee hard. What kind of... Okay. So, this could take all day, us listing off why new blood for fighting games could be good. But first thing is, more fighting game players, more people purchasing the games, more budget, more fighting game. On top of that, keep the community going so that it doesn't get old and die off and nobody buys fighting games anymore. Something we've already come dangerously close to happening. Also, more people to play online with so you don't just get matched up. Not only so you don't just get matched up to the same 3 people, because there are some fighting games that are so old that the online, if you want to hop on, there's only 20 people playing online. But also, like for new players, for people who are of new or middling skill level, being stuck only playing with the people, the 20 or 30 or 100 people who are all pros at the game, just to stick with it for 10 years, doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
More new players means more people who are like you, who are about your skill level, so it doesn't feel like you're either stomping or getting stomped. Besides, if you want to do stomping, just play Dead Space.
Or that new Dead Space spiritual successor.
I've not been paying attention to that one. Does that one have stomping?
I've only seen the same trailer that you have, but it had stomping, yes. The trailer had stomping.
Oh my god. I guess that makes sense. It's not really Dead Space without a stomp, is it?
No, it's not truly Dead Space until you can stomp the babies.
You're very right. It's not Dead Space until your mom hates it.
Yeah.
It's not Dead Space until your dead girlfriend tells you to make us whole.
Yeah. The funny thing about the Your Mom Hates It campaign is the funniest part of that to me is that my mom would hate it not because of the horror parts, but because it's sci-fi horror.
Ah!
So technically they're right,
See,
just not for the right reasons.
That was one of those things I observed, because we played Silent Hill 2 and then Dead Space 2, or you played Silent Hill 2 and then Dead Space 2 in quick succession. And I just found it so odd how you were a lot more creeped out by Silent Hill 2 than I was. But then conversely, Dead Space 2 didn't bother you really much at all, whereas Dead Space 2 freaked me the fuck out when I played through it, and it still kind of does.
Psychological horror hits me a lot harder than body horror. Like, I don't even notice body horror.
Well, it's not just body horror. Dead Space is like cosmic horror. The shit beyond the stars is so beyond our fucking level that it kills us without even thinking about it. Like, the marker is so bizarre and fucking out there. Like, Dead Space 2 is especially, like, big on this. Like, what the marker is actually capable of is so far beyond Isaac's, like, even Isaac being the incredible badass that he is. I'll link this back to fighting games somehow. Give me a little bit.
All right.
But Isaac being the incredible badass that he is, as the Super Best Friends point out when they played Dead Space 2, there isn't enough ammo on the fucking sprawl to kill all the necromorphs that must be there. And even worse than that, even the necromorphs that you do, quote unquote, kill by cutting all their limbs off, just turn into the weird goop shit that forms on the walls and eventually the big ass monsters. It's a foe that can't properly be beaten, at least without breaking the marker and whatever weird mindfuck effects that has. Silent Hill, like, doesn't bother me so much, not just because psychological horror doesn't get to me, I think it's interesting, but Silent Hill is something that's very beatable, right? In order to beat Silent Hill, you have to beat yourself, but still, it's something that can be beaten. Dead Space, you can't beat that shit. Dead Space is the fucking flailing as humanity gets dragged through the fucking execution room doors.
I guess it's one of those things where, like, the most of cosmic horror works this way, which that's why I'm not really creeped out by cosmic horror as a whole. Is that most of cosmic horror deals with things that are so beyond the scope of human understanding that my brain just kind of turns off. It just doesn't notice it. Like, I could think about exactly how powerful this being that I don't understand how powerful it is. Alternatively, I could not. And, like,
I think that's a thing of me being a lorehead for some games. Is just like, the more I think about what's going on in Dead Space with the marker and the necromorphs, the more I'm like, wow, humanity is just fucked.
Yeah, and then comparatively, Silent Hill is a very direct, immediate threat, and it's one of those things where like Silent Hill can be beaten, but people need to actually realize that Silent Hill can be beaten before they beat it. Like you need to logic out the way to beat Silent Hill, and then actually do that thing for it to be beaten. Otherwise, it's not beatable either.
That's a brutal thing about beating Silent Hill. It ain't about logic.
Yeah. I mean, there is some logic. Yeah.
Yeah, I get some games more than others. Silent Hill 2, though, James could not just logic his way out of that. The only way James could beat that was by saying, yes, I did it. It is my fault. I can't take that back. And that's not logic. That's emotion. That's mentality.
I guess. I don't know. To me, it would take logic to reach the point where James goes, "Yes, I did it, and I need to make peace with that." That James would need to have to spend time and try to put together. Hey, all of these people, all of these monsters that try to eat me look like my dead wife.
Yeah,
very interesting.
There's this woman who looks identical to my dead wife, and she keeps dying horribly.
Especially when I beat her with a 2x4.
Yeah. Oh Christ! We're never gonna that's one of those jokes where I would ordinarily say like, "Oh, you're never gonna live that down," but then I think you're making it so that you'll never live that down.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's funny because it's thematic.
What you're doing is like the opposite of James's problem in Silent Hill 2. It's like if you're just walking around the whole time. I killed my wife. I killed my wife. I killed my wife. Did you know I killed my wife? Hey, hello, sir. Are you aware that I killed my wife?
And then I'm also laughing.
Yeah. So like Silent Hill for you has to go the opposite direction of, dude, calm it down. The rest of your life isn't just about the fact that you killed your wife.
Yeah. Basically, what we're saying is, if I portrayed James in the Silent Hill 2 movie remake, James's portrayal would be something akin to the Joker. Joker.
The Joker.
That works.
That's some football player.
Yeah.
Like the monsters in Silent Hill are trying to get you, but consistently every time. You fucking duck up and under and over and to the side, and you're just like wiggling your finger. No, 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 no.
Yeah. Shit. But yeah, like my portrayal of James would be something like the Joker. He's just laughing and then fucking going, "Did you know I killed my wife?" It was really funny. It was a good joke. And then Pyramid Head shows up, he just carves, "Get over it, dude," into a corpse.
Pyramid Head's gimmick is that he ignores you now. He is moving on and trying to get you to move on.
Yeah.
He just looks at you and goes, "Huh, look at that," and he just walks away.
Yeah. But yeah, the reason I keep bringing up that whole shtick is because it's just really funny to me how thematic it was to the game. And how 90% of it, 95, was by accident too.
Yeah. And the remaining 5% we don't talk about.
Yeah. The remaining 5%, we were dumb.
Okay. So let's roll this background to fighting games. So we've seen Terrordrome, horror fighting game, plays the monsters, right?
Yeah.
We need one that's horror protagonists. They can still keep Ash and Herbert West, but throw in Isaac Kleiner. James with the shotgun and the pipe.
James
Who else can we throw in?
James has a pyramid install where he gets one half of the scissor.
See, it's a super. He becomes incredibly slow, but if you get hit, you die.
Yeah.
Well, you know what that is? It's a fucking moveset.
It's a
moveset.
Yeah.
I was thinking that, or it's just a moveset change where he becomes a slightly taller Cliff Anderson.
Ah, yeah. That could work too.
That's one of those things with PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale that I kind of missed out on. Of like, Isaac seems like he'd be an awesome fighting game character, honestly.
It depends, because you could make him very boring very, very fast just by making him play like Chris Redfield.
You could, but go with like his weirder weapons.
Yeah.
Oh my god, imagine if he had a special, like, one of his normals is he just holds the Ripper out in front of him and he can walk forwards and backwards.
Yeah.
I mean, Dead Space 2 shows that Isaac can fucking fly. That would be something worth using.
Yeah, and then like Isaac's most of Isaac's moves don't do a lot, but they deal a lot of knockdown. And on knockdown, if you do on knockdown you can input stomps. Stomps deal most of the damage. You can burn meter to make them EX.
I remember General Rom in KI has a whole mechanic around the fact that his light kick is a stomp. And him being also a command grab based character, his entire game becomes about around getting grabs and knockdowns just so you can run up and stomp on the guy a bunch before he gets up.
Ah. So yeah, that's Isaac's moveset. What other good protagonists are there in horror?
Leave out Chris, but we can bring back Jill from MVC2.
Yeah.
Like,
we can bring in Ethan because of his weird fucking goop powers.
We could, but he still can't have a face.
No, he has a face now.
Does he now have a face? Because I remember when RE8 released, if you turned on photo mode and looked at him, he just had a shadow for a face.
If memory serves, then with the new gold update, they gave him a face. That's why it's gold.
Okay, I'm looking it up.
Like in the third person gameplay thing, if memory serves, then he has a face now. If not, then just call him Shadow Ethan, like with Dio.
I am looking. If he is getting a face in gold, they haven't shown it yet.
Okay. Then yeah, just make him Shadow Ethan.
Yeah.
And then
who would be?
Let's see.
Like the lamest. Like, it'd have to be Amnesia Man or Outlast Man, right? Outlast Man just looks at you with a camcorder. There you go.
I mean, like the Amnesia Man has no body, and Outlast Man is a set of cock and balls. Like he also doesn't have a face.
I was about to say that's Outlast 2, but then I remembered Outlast 1 also has you be naked, doesn't it?
Yeah. I didn't know that you get naked in Outlast 2. In Outlast 1, you get naked because someone kidnaps you and like they do the
almost certainly rapes you, right?
Probably, but they do the Jacob's ladder scene where you get pulled through with the sick bed.
Yeah. Boy, Outlast had a lot of male on male rape.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Like, I was gonna joke, like, oh, Outlast Man is there, but like all of his attacks just happen to be the monsters attacking near him, and he dodges out of the way, right?
He wouldn't dodge.
But then I was like, yeah, you're right. He would just eat it. Like, what? One of his moves is the big burly dude from Outlast 1 pops up, and he just throws the protagonist at the opponent. Oh man, yeah. Ooh.
I feel like we'd have to have Heather.
Heather, yeah. Well, Heather would be insane because she gets a katana and a fucking Mac 10.
She plays like a mixture of Haomaru and freaking BB Hood.
That she's pretty close to BB Hood in lots of ways, honestly.
Yeah.
That little girl is easily the most powerful Silent Hill protagonist.
Like I was gonna say the guy from The Room, but then that he's not. I don't even remember his name for one. But it would be funny for him to summon the fucking the Three Stooges. That's
I
his.
mean, Homecoming Man can do dodge rolls, I guess. What would he fucking do? Oh god, I forgot. He can only do dodge rolls. He can also do combo because they're trying to make it an action game.
Ah, yeah, boy.
And there are human enemies in that one.
Oh yeah, shit.
Like, here's what we're probably never gonna play Dead Space 3, so I need to go ahead and say this. Throughout Dead Space 1, Wooly played through Dead Space 1 recently, and there are several points where he says, like, you know, I understand that the villains have to be separated from me and killed by some big monster, because if Isaac gets to kill them, he can, like, chop off body parts and stomp and all that, and that's gruesome and disgusting. I understand why the developers didn't want the player doing that. And the whole bit, I was just thinking in my head, Dead Space 3, the very first enemy you fight in Dead Space 3, and a recurring enemy throughout the entire fucking game, is third-person shooter human man. Cover shooter human man.
I see.
So
Marcus Phoenix.
Dead Space. Dead Space 3 not only adds regular human enemies, they're just dudes with guns. I don't think I've ever mentioned this to you. Dead Space 3 not only adds more regular guns. I believe the plasma cutter is more or less entirely gone in Dead Space 3. You start out with a pistol instead.
Oh.
Which is immediately like, oh, fucking boring. But worse than that, I'm pretty sure Dead Space 3 actually added full-blown fucking Gears of War cover mechanics, but worse.
Oh. Oh, no.
Because, you know, Gears of War, famously the cover shooter, has really thought it out, added a ton of gameplay and depth around the cover. Dead Space 3, hey, Gears of War is making money, let's add cover to Dead Space 3!
Yeah.
And of course, it's fucking useless against the Necromorphs, because the Necromorphs don't give a shit about cover. So it's a mechanic you only use for like half the goddamn game, just whenever you happen to run into humans.
Yeah.
Ugh. Just ugh.
Oh, you know who would be a fun character for the horror protagonist fighting game?
The dude from hang on, give me a second. I have to pull up the name. The dude from Onimusha?
No? Maybe him too, but I was thinking of the Hunter.
The Hunt. Oh, Bloodborne. Yeah, everyone wants the Hunter to be in a fighting game. Come on.
The Hunter
is the primary.
Yeah. Oh no. Is he gone? Yes. The Hunter is the primary, as you should come to learn. He's not just the Alpha, but the Omega. And everything in between. Are you back?
Oh, I didn't even know I was gone. All I was saying was, I think the Hunter is a big reason why people want All Stars Battle Royale 2. And then I just heard you go, Sega!
Ah! What I was going to say...
Hello, Gordon!
Yeah.
Look, ropes!
The Hunter would just have the moveset of Dante.
He could have whatever the fuck you want, honestly.
I mean, I'm just imagining that they would have all of the separate Bloodborne weapons and shit.
Oh god, a different one on every move.
Yeah, like you get Rekos doing the fucking like doing a switching move between the hand X and the two-handed X. And you get like a get over here with the whip sword, and you get also a normal like poke with it in the sword mode. You get like a yoga fire like move out of the bagpipes or whatever it was, I forget. Stuff like that.
Oh man.
What other horror games are there that I can think of? There was The Darkness. Does that count as horror?
I'd say it's close enough. I think we can can reasonably throw in Splatterhouse as well.
Yeah.
Prototype, maybe.
Are we talking about the reboot or the original Splatterhouse?
Well, I think it may perhaps be best for everyone's sanity to bring up the original, but the reboot one would still work in a fighting game.
I mean, the reboot one would be funnier to me because the mask also speaks for some reason.
Well, not only does it speak, it's also voiced by Jim Cummings, better known as Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, yeah.
And it's Winnie the Pooh going, "Fucking kill him, Jim. I like to see him get ripped in half." And he still sounds a little bit like Tigger.
So basically, please put it in the reboot Splatterhouse.
I would like to see the Alone in the Dark man, the original Alone in the Dark dude, which I hear that's getting a remake. But the original Alone in the Dark dude, who is just this, refined Victorian gentleman. And what's he got just a shotgun, or he beat you with a cane?
Yeah. Oh, one of the girls from I forget her name, but the girl from Fatal Frame 2.
That would be fun, because she could stun you when she takes pictures, right?
Yeah.
That would be a neat one.
Like she doesn't.
She was neat when they added her to Smash.
They don't. She doesn't have many offensive moves, but a lot of her moves are stuns or reflects.
Yeah.
Like she'd be the parry character of the game. She would have all of the parry.
Are there any? I just had a stupid idea. There are a couple fighting games that allow you to block, right?
Yeah.
RE7 lets you block. I want to say like Silent Hill 3 or Silent Hill 4 lets you block. But are there any horror games that have allowed you to parry the monster?
Bloodborne.
Bloodborne goes beyond that. Bloodborne goes to parry God.
Yeah. No, it doesn't, because God is unparryable.
Oh, right. That was a change they made for Elden Ring. Elden Ring made it where you could parry bosses.
Yeah, you need to hit God until he gets kind of woozy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh boy, you could probably lump in all of Souls there. So you could lump in Mr. Chosen Undead from DS1. There you go.
What is the name of that game? There was a PlayStation 1 game that's Proto Bloodborne, pretty much. And I'm not talking about the remake.
Oh, yeah, the game that starts with a Rob Zombie song and the main character looks suspiciously like Marilyn Manson.
Maybe that one, but let me see if I can find it.
Alan Wake, and whenever he shines a flashlight on the opponent, it doesn't matter who they are, the opponent is nonetheless like, "Oh, I hate it!"
Yeah. Bloody hell. I can't remember the name of that game. It is something like fucking... It is something dark related. But... Okay, I'm just gonna look at the list of PS1 games and then see if I can find it. With pictures, sure.
How is it that I have not yet said Frank West?
I don't know.
We can use Doom.
Oh no.
Well,
we can use Doom. What? You cut out.
We can use Doom.
Oh, we were just not supposed to hear it. Alright then.
The Doom. Oh no! The protagonist from the forest.
Oh no!
His win pose is he just eats his opponent.
Yeah.
He enters the screen wearing a...
Oh no, I wonder what he's wearing.
Like, the main protagonist from the forest is arguably more fucked up than the actual bad guys.
You cut out on he enters.
He just enters wearing the weird mutant flesh suit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the other characters are all just like, oh god, he reeks. What the fuck?
That's the one. Nightmare Creatures.
Nightmare Creatures. Yes, yes. It starts. The fucking game starts by playing. Demon. Not Demon Speeding. What Rob Zombie song is it that starts to play? Demonoid Phenomenon. The game starts by playing Demonoid Phenomenon by Rob Zombie. It's just so weird. It's so 90s. And to be fair, around that same time, Twisted Metal was also loaded with Rob Zombie songs, so it wasn't.
So was everything else.
We need more games with Rob Zombie songs, actually.
Everything was loaded with Rob Zombie. Edge was talking about his Durango.
Yeah, we need more Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie can fix what's going on nowadays.
Definitely.
Only Rob Zombie can save America. If this was the Shut Your Mouth Lounge instead of the Fighting Games are, I would say there's your podcast title.
Apparently, I don't agree with this, but apparently, LSD Dream Emulator counts as a horror game for PlayStation 1. So I guess they just make that a world, not even an enemy. To make that a mini game. Like instead of the parry game from Third Strike, or the break the targets from Street Fighter 1, you just go through a couple of scenes, like weird scenes with your character, and then the game just loads the next fight.
I love seeing some of these horror games. Like, I'm looking over my own list of horror games I got on Steam just for ideas. I love seeing some of these where it's like, yeah, I have no mouth and I must scream. Yeah, that's one we could use the protagonist from.
Yeah.
Benny, his special move is he falls down the stairs and breaks his own legs. There you go.
Nice. It gives him a buff.
To be fair, Nimdok could actually summon a gigantic Hebrew golem, so that would actually be hype.
Yeah.
Like, this character is a tiny Nazi scientist with his Jewish golem stand.
Yeah, sure. Ooh, fucking the guy from Medieval. Apparently,
he would
counts.
he would be fantastic. Yeah, that's one that could. Him and Isaac both have already been done in Playstar and All Stars as well, so you can just reuse their designs from that.
I like how one of these. I'm looking at a list of PlayStation 1 horror games, and one that like they're cut up into segments. One segment is non-horror Resident Evil clones.
Oh god, the pathologic protagonist, he just talks you to death.
Yeah.
He just tells you about the societal decline of this small Russian village, and the opponent kills themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, Lee from Walking Dead. He'd be great. Lee and Clementine both.
Yeah, they're all like the ice climbers.
Yeah, but I'd say Lee's perhaps a bit more physically threatening than Season 1 small child Clementine.
Yeah.
Though Clem does have a gun! I forgot about that.
He might
just
be more,
when you think...
He might be more threatening, but she's expecting heat.
You kill Lee, and it's like, finally, now the match is over, and Clem just pulls out a gun.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, you thought!
Oh, Dante could apparently be in this. Because it apparently counts. I don't know.
DMC1, you could count DMC1 as a horror game.
Alright.
An awkward horror.
Who boy?
Steam list, and it's like, yeah, just a big fucking space marine who's more or less invincible. Yeah, that's a good guy to put against James from Silent Hill.
Yeah. Alright, listen to this one that I found that apparently counts as horror on PS2. Fahrenheit. Indigo Prophecy.
Oh no!
Boy. Oh no! I'm making the fighting game character.
Like, if you want to talk about fighting game developers that would turn up their fucking nose.
W. Are you still here? Words. Okay, not yet. He'll come back eventually. Oh boy. Blimey. Some of this is. But I hope we're not like losing a whole lot of funny content here. Hmm. All right, we're back. Things might have resolved. Wait.
Yes, it
All
is
right.
raining. I am using satellite internet. Therefore, I must go.
Yes. All right.
I must go now. My planet needs me.
Before you leave, I just wanted to tell you, losing the match is a fault of the game designer.
Oh, you're right. This changes everything. You hold that L, gamer.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you're
Alright.
making a stinky reference. It didn't just occur to me until just now. You're making a "oh no, it's a bad game" reference.
Yeah. David Cage is everyone's enemy. Anyway, Namekage. So yeah. I guess fighting games were then.
Were